Nashville, Tennessee, the home of country music, where the city's always hopping in June. The huge CMA Music Festival cranks up shortly. A big NASCAR race in June's been a part of Nashville history for decades, for many years at the Fairgrounds Half Mile, where stars like Yarborough, Waltrip, and Petty took home the trophies. In 2001, the racing moved just east of town to the Nashville Superspeedway, where tonight the NASCAR Nationwide Series runs 300 miles. The big stars are flying in, doing what it takes to try and win 2 championships. But there's a hungry group of young drivers waiting to stake their claim to fame tonight in Music City.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, ignition.
ESPN welcomes you to NASCAR Countdown. On a beautiful night at the Nashville Superspeedway, the drivers and crews are getting set for race 13 of the NASCAR Nationwide Series, a 300-miler where someone's going to load that unique Music City trophy into the truck to take home to Mama. Isn't that a line from that famous tune?
David Allen Coe said you can't have a country western song without trains, trucks, or mama.
There you go, and a few other things. All right, qualifying for this race, held just a few hours ago, Kyle Busch, just after arriving from Pocono, was second quickest on his first time trial lap, but he wasn't done. He was quickest on his second lap, his second pole of the season. We will hear from Kyle in a minute as he gets set to lead this field to the green. The car qualifying second is a big story, though. 18-year-old Trevor Bayne earning a front row starting spot, driving for Michael Waltrip Racing with backing from former Cup Series owner Gary Bechtel. Just 36 thousandths of a second off Kyle's pace. It's just his second Nationwide Series try. Let's hear from the young Knoxville native with Shannon Spake.
A young driver who has had a smile plastered on his face since the moment we got here in Nashville. Second place starting position. How did you figure this track out so quickly?
I don't know. I had a lot of help. I talked to David Ruderman earlier this week, and he told me a lot of pointers. He's always really good here. And then the biggest help was Mike Bliss. We did a darkfish thing earlier today, and he came in the trailer and talked to me, went through each corner, and he taught me a lot. You know, it sped up my learning curve really quick, and I wasn't expecting that out of the car, but I mean, we'll take a second place start and spotted our first race working together here with this 99 car.
All right, good luck to you. And it's been a very, very busy weekend for Michael Waltrip Racing. They actually won a Camping World East Series race today with Ryan Truex. So Trevor Bayne looking to make it 2 in a row for Michael Waltrip Racing. Jamie?
And another Michael McDowell. Strong qualifying effort, qualified third. You always qualify well here, but you can't finish that way. What's it going to take tonight?
I don't know. We've had a lot of great race cars here in Nashville, and looking forward to this constructionjobs.com Toyota Camry. You know, it's hard starting behind Kyle Busch. Sometimes his cape blocks your vision, but I hope to get around him and we can win the Sandbass guitar. That'd be a lot of fun today.
Good luck to Michael McDowell tonight. You know, last weekend at Dover, the night belonged to Joe Gibbs Racing and the duo of Joey Logano and Kyle Busch. Together they dominated, leading 195 of 200 laps. But in the end, the night belonged to Brad Keselowski.
Joey Logano. Could he get a win on the 1-year anniversary?
Kyle's still with you, halfback.
He's been looking high and low, trying to get around his teammates.
Here you go. You got Kyle Busch on the outside. He might have him this time.
There you go. Way to be patient. Caution's out. Caution's out.
Logano gets a great start.
Yeah, he was ready for Kyle Busch right there. He gets him right there.
He got him. Here goes Keselowski for the lead.
What a finish here at Dover, Delaware.
Wow, man, damn it.
That's pathetic right there. Guys, just work on this race car. Keep your mouth shut about this.
I take total blame for it. I got to find him and apologize to him.
The cool thing about Brad Keselowski being back here at Nashville is I've seen you sign that Victory Lane photo many, many times already. How will you remember last week's victory? Because it was kind of an interesting race at the end. How will you remember it?
Oh, man, you know, I just caught a break, and that's what I remember it for. You know, it seems like you remember the ones that got away that you probably should have won, but you never think about the ones that you won as far as catching a break, and we did. We caught a huge break. So I remember that next time I get a flat tire in that same situation, because I'm sure it'll happen to me too. So I felt bad for Kyle on that, but you know, there's nothing you can do, and we caught our bad breaks at the start of the season with the GoDaddy cars, so now we're back with the Hellman Chevrolet and ready to catch a break again.
And every win makes for a good story. Alan, he starts 10th tonight.
All right, David, thank you. Brad and Trevor and Michael and all those guys hoping to play the winning tune tonight. Now, I'll leave out the picking and grinning line here. I'll save that for later. No singing allowed inside the ESPN pit studio because we can't carry a tune in a bucket. But talking inside, Alan Bestwick with Rusty Wallace and Brad Daugherty. I know you got a lot to say about tonight's race. But we got to finish some unfinished business from last weekend's event at Dover. That finish with Kyle Busch and his teammate Joey Logano. We didn't hear from Kyle Busch on the subject until his press conference Friday up at Pocono.
I think it was before that last caution came out. I was trying to lap the 07 car who forced me low down the front straightaway, and almost all the way down to the apron, and must have punctured a tire there. Didn't call it over the radio because I didn't want to give everybody Christmas and say that you know, that I had a tire going down, because if I could have jacked up the restart enough and caused a wreck, then you know, I would have been fine. I would have been golden. It was a green-white checkered, so I would have won the race.
Now, no doubt on Kyle's mind in that Dover finish. This at Darlington, Kyle is leading under caution before a green-white checker finish. He's got a flat tire, gives up the lead to pit. And Matt Kenseth leading on the restart when the field jacks up behind him. Morgan Shepherd gets spun, caution comes out. Matt Kenseth wins the race before he really has to win a race, anybody, for the win. Kyle Busch did not get the victory by pitting for the flat tire. Reaction to what you just heard about the end of last week's race from Kyle Busch.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, there's a lot of opinions on this one, that's for sure. So I'm going to give you mine, okay?
Okay.
All right, my opinion is that what he did cost his own teammate a victory. I mean, he should have said something like, hey, I think I might be having a problem with this right front tire. I think I'm going to go high. If something goes wrong, Joey would have been ready. He'd have went to the bottom. But to make a statement that said, I was hoping to stack them up and cause a big crash. I didn't say that. I just heard that. That's what he said. I don't agree with that, man. I don't think that's very sportsmanlike. If NASCAR would have known that, I think they would have had a big problem with that. I'm going to cause a big crash. I'm going to cause my teammate from winning. Man, that's not the way I drove, I'll tell you that. I know things have changed.
Yeah. See, I think the obligation here, though, is just like we saw in the NBA last week with LeBron James. You know, after the race, the post-race opportunity to explain to your fans what happened. I think that's so important. I know he has to cool off. He had another race he had to go and participate in. But these post-race and post-basketball opportunities are so important. And you got to remember at the end of the day, the reason why you're driving that race car and having all this fun and bouncing around and doing what you're doing is because of these people's behinds sitting in these stands. It's because of the fans. You're obligated to the fans to respond after every event.
So that brings us to this weekend, where Kyle and Carl Edwards have been shuttling back and forth over the 838 miles between the Sprint Cup race at Pocono in Pennsylvania and this event in Nashville. It's the beginning of a 3-week stretch of separate site races. Rusty, how difficult are these weekends and why?
It is very, very difficult. It's difficult on your mind. It's difficult to concentrate on both. If you're at Pocono, Pennsylvania, and you are giving it your all up at Pocono, trying to get that car of yours to handle good there, and in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I got to get out of here. I really want to cut this practice short so I can get over to Nashville to do that also. You're really stretched. And when you really get stretched is when you have bad weather, you got to negotiate thunderstorms getting there, you're late arriving, you're going to run, you're out of breath, like we've seen Carl Edwards many times trying to jump in that car, man. It's really tough. It's not easy.
Yeah, the logistics of the communication are a nightmare in trying to pull this off and make this happen. But now the new twist is the new car. It used to be you were going to jump into 2 downforce type race cars so you could come and easily do it. But now you have 2 separate race cars, 2 totally different beasts. So it makes it very difficult to come in, share the communication, get the car set up, but it happens to be Kyle Busch and Carl Edwards, who are 2 of the best race car drivers in the world.
Yes, sir. And still ahead on NASCAR Countdown, the aforementioned Kyle Busch and Carl Edwards. They're the top 2 in the championship. One is clearly outrunning the other, but just can't gain any ground in the points. We will hear from both drivers. We'll follow up on the terrible storms that swept through this area the last time the series visited and the efforts racers are making to try and help. And you'll see and hear from some of the young drivers looking to grab a little spotlight for themselves. Tonight, lots of new faces in new places, that and more on NASCAR Countdown from Nashville.
NASCAR Countdown, brought to you by Nationwide Insurance. Next week, play Driver Pick'em, presented by Nationwide Insurance on ESPN.com for a shot at $25,000.
With the number of Cup invaders down due to the standalone stretch, this is a great opportunity for some drivers to grab some spotlight time.
Yeah, I talked to Scott Lagacy earlier, and he told me his experience last week at Dover on the concrete has helped him today. He is excited about this race. He's going to the front.
Another one hoping to pick up a W. Brendan Gaughan, good starting spot for the Vegas native, starting 7th in this one.
Brendan's been a qualifying machine. He's had some spectacular runs. It's time to see old BG get our Dubs hot rod in victory lane.
I like that. 30 of the 43 drivers in the field have never won a Nationwide Series race, but they've come to the right place. This Nashville track's produced a lot of first-time winners.
Here he comes back to the line.
And Greg Biffle wins his first NASCAR Busch Series race.
Jason Leffler has enough fuel to go the distance and score his first NASCAR Busch Series win.
Checkered flag for 19-year-old Reed Sorensen as he picks up his first career NASCAR Busch Series victory.
Glenn Boyer will win. He seats the checkered flag for the first time in his career.
First-time winner, Brad Keselowski.
This is it. This is what I've been dreaming of my whole life.
And this is one young gun that's hoping to get his first ever victory in the Nationwide Series. Brad Coleman, last time we saw you in a Gibbs car was 2 years ago. Why the decision to come back?
Oh man, their cars are awesome. I love the whole family at Joe Gibbs Racing, just all the people. I really enjoyed my time being there, and now to have the backing of Rudy's.com barbecue sauce, it's makes it even sweeter. So we're gonna go out there, and watching all those videos right there of all the first-time winners really makes me want it more.
Well, he qualified for it tonight now, and pretty good in his first race of 8 this season.
Good candidate to perhaps go to victory lane tonight. Brad, one of a number of drivers in very familiar cars to the Nationwide Series. Check out this list. All the car numbers and teams very familiar if you follow this series weekly, but a few of the names different than usual.
Yeah, you got Stephen Light, who obviously has run well in the past in Richard Childress's cars. He's got a victory in the series. He's a young guy, though it needs a good opportunity, as well as Eric Darnell. 4th place finish at Darlington. That young man's going to have a good run.
Look at Trevor Bain up there in the front row.
Yeah,
I mean, first time out here, 2nd place qualifying. I mean, that's unreal.
Rusty, who are these opportunity races the most important to and why?
Alan, they're most important to all the Nationwide regulars. These guys really target this race. I can tell you my guys back at the shop, Stephen and Brendan, they've been thinking about this race all year long. And the next 3 races coming up, whether it's Kentucky, Milwaukee, races like that, they think this is their opportunity to get in victory lane. Just a little easier to do it. They've been looking forward to it.
Yeah, Jason Leffler, a Mike Bliss, a Jason Keller, guys who are mainstays in this series. It gives them an opportunity to come out and not be out-resourced tonight. They're going to put their best foot forward, and those guys are going to be marching towards the front, trying to put on a show because they know this is their best opportunity this early in the season.
Important to series regulars like Leffler, important to some young guys that don't get frequent chances behind the wheel, like, for example,
well, Cale Gale driving a number 33 car for Kevin Harvick. This guy is really good. He works on his car. He's driving it. He's a pretty smart guy behind the wheel. He knows all about it. I'm picking Cale Gale. I think he's a good one.
Another guy, young man, is Sean Case, and I think he is an interesting young man. He's out of the Northeast. He's from Pelham, New Hampshire, and he's been racing since he was a June bug. June bug's anything under 10 years of age.
Is that right?
He won several karting championships at that young age, and then he moved on and got into late models. He had a horrific accident in late model stock racing, a super late model, in 2002. Broke both of his kneecaps. His dad, Jim, his mom, Giselle, they looked at him and said, do you want to continue doing this? 6 weeks later, he's in a race car. He goes on. He wins in midgets. He wins in Busch East cars, and he's here tonight, and this young man is hungry. He wants to get the victory lane, and he wants to be in this series.
You and Andy Petrie always talk about them June bugs, man. Where are you going with that story all the time?
That's a North Carolina thing,
Must
man.
be something about up in Asheville where they both
Western
live.
North Carolina.
Western North Carolina. Okay, I got you.
There you go. All right, this is the second visit of this season by the Nationwide Series to Nashville. On practice day for the first, Friday, April 10th, severe weather approached the area, creating a surreal scene as the garage was evacuated. All the teams and drivers taking shelter inside the media center, watching and waiting. The track was spared. The community was not.
This used to be the living room of our home.
I'm sitting on our playground. What's left of it at least.
We are looking at storm reports on Storm Tracker.
I left out of the house on April 10th to finish Easter shopping.
April 10th, I was going bowling.
My son called me and said, Mom, we got some severe stuff moving in. You need to get home.
I really didn't know, but I just kind of was being safe about it.
My oldest son, we were going to celebrate his birthday.
Jack had just opened up some presents, and we were sitting on the couch. We noticed the wind kicking up.
It was nothing. I just kept on opening presents.
We knew the storm was probably coming, but we weren't really thinking that it was going to be a tornado.
I came
to about here, looked outside. It was on us then. It was not approaching, it was already here.
It's like a wedge now.
Please, it is really large. Oh my goodness.
He yelled for us to get to the bathroom.
I shut the door, turned, came through here, and then was pushed into this corner.
He says his guardian angel pushed him into our corner.
This is where I rode the thing out.
The tornado went that way, went out the back of the house.
The noise was just deafening.
My ears started popping and everything. My little sister was really scared and my girlfriend was crying.
When the power went out was probably when I got the most scared.
And about right here is where my kids were. This would have been the bathroom where they took shelter.
He had Leslie and I sit in the bathroom and he was on top of us to keep us protected.
I just had to keep them calm, so that's all I was really worried about.
The storm lasted probably 30 seconds.
It was so loud, and then it was just quiet.
It was almost like no storm had ever been there.
Stepping out, it just confirmed that, yeah, it's as bad as you thought it was.
I need someplace simple where we could live, and something only you can give, and that's fair.
My car didn't make it through the storm. It got flipped over on the front porch. It was special because me and my dad, we built it before he left.
2 weeks before the storm, my husband had been deployed with the National Guard.
We went looking for our neighbors, and the lanes were part of the ones that we went looking for because I knew her husband was deployed and he wouldn't be home.
I finally got there, and both of my kids came running out of their house. And I just hugged them and cried.
Tonight's the night the world begins again.
The community poured out. I can't even tell you how many people that we didn't know that came to help us.
My husband made a joke that, you know, people have an idea of angels with wings and harps, but they don't. They have chainsaws and brooms.
There's no words to express how much we appreciated what everyone did for us.
I'm just grateful for that we were not harmed or anything like that. I mean, we came out there, no scratches or anything, nothing.
Well, the racetrack invited those affected by the storm to be its guest at tonight's race. They got rides in the pace car earlier. The Lanes and the Dishners on stage getting to greet the drivers at introductions just a few minutes ago. Earlier today, drivers participated in an autograph session where fans could also donate money for storm relief. The Nationwide Foundation donated $25,000 to the Nashville Area Red Cross chapter, and some teams will donate a portion of their winnings as well. And the effort to assist storm victims here in Nashville on this race weekend. Jason Keller's team, Baker Curb Racing, is based here in Nashville. Their sponsor tonight, State Water Heaters, is one of those donating. Jason lines up 11th in the 27 car. Stephen Light on board the Holiday Inn Chevy for Richard Childress tonight. He qualified 9th. That team won here last year with Scott Wimmer driving. And up next on NASCAR Countdown, Kyle Busch, who leads the championship despite a run of bad luck lately. And the man trying to stay with him, Carl Edwards, a 3-time winner here. That when NASCAR Countdown continues from Music City. After we're done with NASCAR tonight, United Association Route 66 NHRA Nationals qualifying. From Joliet, 10:30 Eastern Time, ESPN2. The finals are tomorrow at 4 Eastern. ABC tomorrow at 5 Eastern, the Traxxas Torque Truck Series presented by AMSOIL. That's on ABC. Tomorrow morning, it's NASCAR Now presented by 5 Hour Energy, the Pocono Pre-Race Edition, ESPN2. And then our Monday wrap-up, NASCAR Now Roundtable, 5 Eastern, ESPN2. That's what's upcoming on the ESPN family of networks. In each of the last 3 races, Kyle Busch has led the most laps, but victory has slipped from his grasp in a variety of ways.
Well, he has had a tough time getting some of these races finished, and I think we see this so much because he's up front all the time, either winning or having bad luck.
Leading at Darlington, has to pit with a flat tire before a green-white checker finish. Then at Charlotte, the weather.
Take a look at this. He's leading the race at Charlotte, comes down pit road, makes a normal pit stop, and then the rain comes, and when it starts raining, they red flag the race, and he loses, but he finishes 3rd.
Dover, just before the green-white checker.
Another tire went by the wayside, but like I say, he's out front in these opportunities. That's what's so outstanding. I mean, this guy could have won those 3 races very easily. He's always up front.
So because of the bad brakes, instead of gaining points, Kyle actually lost ground to Carl Edwards 2 of those 3 weeks. The gap between the two, 40 beginning tonight. Let's hear from both drivers, starting with Dave.
Yes, but Alan, in the comic books, doesn't Superman always win? Now, that moniker was tagged on Kyle earlier today by the guy he beat for the pole by 36 thousandths of a second. So I guess the question, Superman, is can you rescue Lady Luck and get yourselves back in victory lane tonight?
I can try, but Jerry and the guys in the booth need to stop jinxing me. When it comes down to the end of these races, they keep talking about this or keep talking about that. Well, oh, Kyle Busch, he's led the most laps, he hasn't won, blah, blah, blah. Quit it, Jerry. Just don't even put the camera on me, okay? No, I think the NASCAR.
So you want us to do like 5th place battle and just get off the lead?
Yeah, let's just talk about some guys that got some new sponsors like McDowell and, we got Rudy's barbecue sauce on Brad Coleman's car. We got some good stuff on down the line, but.
We'll consider that.
Okay, this NOS Energy Drink Toyota has been good. Yesterday was a little tight. We kept working on that, trying to get it more balanced to the way I like it. And, it sat on the pole here. It was fast. So, we'll see how it runs tonight. Track will tighten up the more we go with nighttime and with more rubber. So I should have to keep on top of it.
All right, good luck. Don't lose the cape. Shannon?
Yeah, you were mentioning Superman right there. Of course, every Superman has his kryptonite. Carl Edwards looking to be that to Kyle Busch. I'm going to remind you, there's the green right there. I'm going to remind you last time we were here back in April, you said that to win this race, your car has to be perfect. How close are you guys to perfection?
Well, we do have the ortho car here, and right here on the hood it says "Defend what's yours." And in the past, this track has been ours. We've been great, and we came here in the spring and we're kind of mediocre, and that's been really the story of our year. We've been just good enough to run about 4th or 5th, and today I hope is a step forward. Yesterday in practice we were very fast. I felt like we had the best car in race trim. You talking about Kyle, I think he picked it up quite a bit, obviously, in qualifying, but I really have a good feeling about this thing in race trim, and I'm just praying that that's what we've got, because I'd love to win another guitar, and especially love to get our first win of the season here.
He's got 3 guitars already, and you look at the hood, it says "Defend what's yours." 3-time winner here at this racetrack. Rolls off 6, Alan.
All right, Shannon, there we go. Rusty, what's tough about this track? What's cool about the track?
Well, I'll tell you what, there's not much tough about this racetrack at all. It's pretty straightforward, and I really think that's the cool thing about this racetrack. Look at this. You can drive right down the straightaway here. The track is real smooth, real wide, real easy to run. I mean, the groove is right on the bottom of the racetrack. Keep that left front down on the bottom. Look at that Exeter turn 2, Brad, real smooth. No problem whatsoever. Easy for the drivers.
Talk to hometown boy Bobby Hamilton. He says as you sail that thing off down into turn 3 here, you really have to stay in the throttle and keep it wound up as much as you possibly can. With a tapered spacer and this tall gear, you can see you lose almost 300 RPM, and you want to have that thing running as hard as you can when you come off 4, because you're going to be looking for that cat with the checkered flag.
All right, we're going to send you up there to call the race. Goodbye.
Goodbye. See you later.
Take it easy on your way around. As Rusty Wallace, he's not going to take it easy. He'll be there in about a minute. Get ready to go racing in Music City tonight. Will Brad Coleman keep this track's history of first-time winners going? Jason Keller, veteran, to keep an eye on tonight. We'll fire him up shortly here in Nashville.
NASCAR Countdown, brought to you by Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR, and Captain Morgan Original Spiced Rum. Drink responsibly. Captain's orders.
Driver introductions are complete. Standing by for the opening ceremony tonight here in Nashville. Our coverage presented by Pennzoil. And while we get ready to enjoy the all-American sport of NASCAR racing, we take a moment to note the 65th anniversary of the Allied invasion at Normandy, D-Day, and salute all of those who have served and sacrificed to protect our free way of life. Thank you, and we have not forgotten. Time to go trackside here in Nashville now for tonight's opening ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the colors of our nation tonight, the Tennessee Army Guard. And to return our invocation, please welcome Pastor Sean Rutherford of the Russellville, Alabama Dream Center.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for Jesus Christ that died upon a cross for every one of our sins. Thank you for your Holy Spirit that dwells inside us. Father, give us a safe race. Father God, I pray that every crew member, every driver of this staff, Father God, will be blessed and covered by your Holy Spirit. In Jesus' name, amen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, with our national anthem, please welcome Tariki Young of the University Medical Center in Lebanon.
Oh, say, can
was so proudly we held as the twilight's last gleaming, whose bold stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombers singing air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the
The Screaming Eagles from Fort Campbell, nearby in Kentucky, part of the opening ceremony here tonight at Nashville Superspeedway. So what'll tomorrow's headline be? The familiar faces showing again why they're the best, or Nashville smiling on another first-time winner? Opportunity knocks. Who answers? Maybe it'll be Superman. The engine's fired next in Nashville.
NASCAR Nationwide Series at Nashville Superspeedway. Presented by Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic. Our ultimate clean, your ultimate feeling. And in part by Verizon Wireless. Get the inside track from Penske Racing, race analysis from our drivers, plus highlights and more on VCast.
Drivers getting buckled in and ready to roll here in Music City. Now, something our pit reporters are going to be keeping an eye on today, tire selection. A lot of teams spent practice time Friday scuffing tires to use in this race. For more on that, we head to the Craftsman Tech Garage and Tim Brewer. Tim?
Thanks, AB. A brand new sticker tire, folks. It's one that come off the Goodyear truck, hadn't been on the racetrack. But here in Nashville, Tennessee, after they started with that sticker tire, run 3 or 4 laps, they found out there was a little bit of speed there. That's due to they heat cycled it, actually knocked the edge off the new tire. This tire actually ran faster. But there again, they ran 3 sets of tires. Most of the teams and scuffed them. Give the driver the advantage of saying, hey, this set 1, it was good. This set 2, it was tight. Set 3 was a little bit freer. So towards the end of the race, when you want to make your car better, the driver's going to say, give me that loose set of tires. We can put them on there for our last run, maybe have an opportunity to win the race here in Nashville.
All right, Tim, so we'll keep an eye on that as the race unfolds. Our very own Nashville trio is ready at the mic, not for karaoke night, but to call the race. We turn it upstairs where Rusty has indeed joined Andy Petrie and Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thanks, Henley. You know, we've claimed all week that tonight's race truly is an opportunity for us to see a fresh face in victory lane. The numbers sort of help support that claim. You can see there, of all those numbers, the bottom line, only 2 double-duty drivers coming from Pocono here, Kyle Busch and Carl Edwards, and the possibilities still exist. Now, guys, I'm going to ask our experts here, you know, how realistic is it that we could see a fresh face in victory lane tonight? And if so, who might that be?
Well, most of these races, if you're going to win one of them, you got to beat about 15 or 20 Cup drivers. Tonight, there's only 2 of them that they'd have to beat to get their first win. Okay, they're good ones. I see, Carl Edwards and Kyle Busch are going to be tough to beat. But it is possible for one of those guys to do it tonight. Brad Coleman's driving the 20 car. It won here in April. That's a good choice for me. And he did guarantee a win in these 8 races in the Gibbs car.
Well, I know I'm supposed to be non-partial. There's no doubt about that. But I got to pick one of my own guys. I think Brendan or Steven are due. I really do. I think it could be tonight for them.
We are in the unofficial capital of country music, and some of the greatest songwriters have lived in this area for many, many years. So I'm going to put you guys on the spot. I want you to make up the title of a country music song that best describes what you think we're going to see here tonight. Now, who wants to go first? Andy, you go first.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm not going to make one up because Johnny Cash already has a couple good ones. How about I Walk the Line, or if you don't walk the line, maybe the Ring of Fire. You might find yourself in a Ring of Fire.
That's good. Rusty.
How about Hobo to Hero? It can happen.
How I tried
Hobo to Hero, it can happen.
On a Saturday night in Nashville, I go from hobo to hero, And by the way, if the leader doesn't pass post-race inspection, how about that old Hank Williams classic, You're Cheating Part? That might work. All right, enough levity, or maybe not enough levity from the booth. Let's go trackside for the command.
And now for the words you've all been waiting for, please welcome the Federated Auto Parts Outstanding Vendor of the Year from Standard Motor Products, Mr. Bill Collins.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
All right, fire it up. Danny, it's Bruce. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Any fans on, Jared?
No.
Got 10-4. Good, keep them on now.
All right, we're running.
Time.
Yeah, we're going up that hill. It's pretty safe on the mountain.
4.
Yeah, I was just trying to check my steering.
Cars getting set to roll off the pit road here in Nashville Superspeedway. Well, Nashville will always hold a special place in the heart and soul of tonight's in-race reporter. He won his very first race here in June of 2004. And when we return, we'll ask Jason Leffler if he's got what it takes to get back to victory lane here in Nashville, Tennessee tonight. Earlier in the afternoon, Kyle Busch returned from Pocono early enough to get in his Toyota and put it on the pole for the second time in 2009. It would be his 17th career NASCAR Nationwide Series pole. And some surprises in qualifying as you watch the ticker come across. 3 of the top 5 qualifiers, their best ever starting spot with Trevor Bayne, Michael McDowell, and Scott Lagasse Jr. all qualifying in the top 5. Tonight's in-race reporter, the driver of the CC's Pizza Great Clips Toyota, Jason Leffler, starts back in 12th spot. Let's talk to Jason.
Hey, Jason Leffler, Rusty Wallace, ESPN. You got us?
I got you guys loud and clear.
Hey, man, this was the side of your first nationwide victory back when, and I'll tell you what, do you have as good as cars you had back then? That thing was fast then.
The Great Clips camera's really good. Scott Zipadelli and all the guys are doing a great job. Unloaded here with a different setup than we had in the spring, and it was pretty awesome off the trailer. So I think we got something for him.
All right, buddy, we got an ESPN mailbag question, and it comes from Allison in Lawrenceville, Georgia. The question is, what do you attribute your team's success to over the past few months?
I just think a team effort. Obviously we had some new faces and new people come in over the offseason, Scott Zipadelli and a few guys, and just pumped everybody up, and they gelled really nicely with the guys we already had there. And everybody's just pumped up. We're running good. 32 teams doing really well, and just a lot of good attitudes around the shop. And of course, with our support from Great Clips and Dollar General and all other sponsors, it's helped a lot too. So just thank everybody.
All right, man. Thanks for talking to us. Now, Andy's going to talk to your crew chief, Scott Zipadelli.
Hey, Scott, it's Andy Petrie in the booth. You got us?
10-4, Andy, I got you.
Hey, Scott, we keep talking about this being a great opportunity race for a lot of drivers to get their first win, but it's also a great opportunity for these Nationwide Series only teams. How do you guys prepare for a race like this?
Actually, Andy, we don't prepare for this race any different than we would a normal race like in Charlotte. Everybody back at Braun Racing is working diligently to put the best car on the racetrack that we can. And, this race pays the same amount of points as any other race, whether we got 15 Cup drivers or just 2 of them today. So we're 100% every week.
Hey, Scott, what is the difference in calling, say, a nationwide race versus a Sprint Cup race from the pit box?
I'd say the biggest difference is this race is only 300 miles long, where you know, a cup race is 400 to 500 miles, and we only have 4 sets of tires to work with throughout the race. So we've got to make solid changes. You know, you don't have a time to make a mistake with a change or go the wrong way. So you got to be real smart. You got to be aggressive with your changes, and I hope it all works out.
Well, I hope it worked out for you guys tonight. Good luck, Scott. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Scott Zipadelli, the younger brother of Greg Zipadelli, the championship crew chief for Joe Gibbs Racing Cup car. Now, we'll have onboard cameras in 7 other cars tonight, including Stephen Wallace, who will make his 100th career NASCAR Nationwide Series start tonight. Remember, he finished in 9th spot here back in April. Our over-the-wall camera microphone will be carried by John Buslow out of Denton, Texas, a 26-year-old front tire carrier for the 24 car of Eric McClure tonight. And as for pit selections, Andy, the heavyweights are really spread out up and down pit road.
Yeah, you got Mike Bliss. He's in this first pit stall when you come off the racetrack. It's actually the last pit stall on pit road. He's got a good way in there and not too much they're going to hold him up coming out. But then you move on down here to the next pit stall, and you see Carl Edwards has picked this opening down here at the garage area, and Brendan Gaughan just on the other side of him. These two guys have got really a good pit stall to get in and out of. But then as you move on down, you see the 47 car down here. He's got a good opening here too, down at the very end of pit road, pretty close to the exit. You move down even farther, you see Brad Coleman in Joey Logano's car that he normally drives. He's going to be in that pit stall, so he's got a good stall. And Kyle Busch, the pole sitter, has picked the first pit, which is always the best one, and that's closest to this pit outline. It's the line everybody's going to be racing for after they make their pit stops. It's this one right here. You see it? That's what they'll be racing for when they come off pit road.
We talk about this being a huge opportunity weekend. Why don't we get some more on the fresh faces in fast cars? Here's Shannon Spake.
Well, Doc, there's been 3 different drivers behind the wheel of the number 29 car in the past 3 races. And tonight it's 22-year-old Stephen Light's turn to wheel that car. Now, while this may only be his second start in the Nationwide Series this season, his first start came right here at this very track back in April. And of course, if you remember back to 2007, Light was one of the drivers who capitalized on these standalone events when he won at Kentucky. So while he may be a young gun, he's certainly got some experience. Jamie?
21-year-old Ricky Stenhouse Jr. making just his second ever Nationwide Series start. Now he's in the 16 car. He has some big shoes to fill. Remember, this team has gone to victory lane 3 times this year. Twice with Greg Biffle, once with Matt Kenseth. He said he welcomes the challenge. But yesterday, a crash in practice sent him to a backup car. He's rolling off 19th. Dave?
23-year-old Sean Case from New Hampshire will be in the black number 2 car today. It'll be his second Nationwide Series start ever. The first one didn't go so well at Dover 3 years ago. He crashed in qualifying, crashed in practice. This one has a chance to be much, much better. Richard Childress believes in this guy, and he signed him to a limited number of races this year. Hope to expand that program next year. Will it go better for him tonight? Well, he's already got 1 monkey off his back. He qualified a solid 13th. Doc?
Dave, with the 2 cars entered for RCR tonight, now 700 career starts for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Tonight's race, 300 miles, 225 laps, pit road speed 45 miles an hour, and a tank of Sunoco fuel about 70 laps. Glad to have you with us here in Nashville, Tennessee. Could it be an opportunity for a fresh face, a newcomer in victory lane? 7 times we've seen a brand new winner go to victory lane here. And folks, tonight, 30 of the 43 starters in this field have never won in NASCAR Nationwide competition. Here they come for the green flag in Nashville, Tennessee. Kyle Busch leads them down the back straightaway out of turn 2. Michael McDowell, who led 9 laps here back in April, his second spot. Then Lagasse, and they're 3 wide back in the pack.
Got them stacked up back here. You see Brendan Gaughan going high right there where Stephen Light gets the advantage. And the 99 car, Trevor Bayne gets way out of the groove.
Well, okay, early right now in the going, guys, it's real slick out there, and they're trying to get the air pressures up, trying to get the air temperatures up right now, and just trying to fight for position, getting that bottom lane. That's the most important thing right now.
Scott Lagasse able to get by Michael McDowell. These 2 guys got together at Dover, and Lagasse got the short end of it. Now he's able to take the spot away, so McDowell back to 3rd. And here is Carl Edwards, who is hungry for that first win in 2009.
Yeah, Carl gets a good run off of turn 4 now on the inside of McDowell.
You know, we saw Carl just really have a good car and qualify. Not exactly what he wanted, but he said, hey, this thing, I think it's right on for the race. And this is a concrete racetrack, and this guy's so good on the concrete tracks. Hey, we nicknamed him Concrete Carl a long time ago.
Carl Edwards was the fastest car in the final practice session here, which took place about this time last night.
Yeah, that's when you want your car to be good, is right now when the race is getting started. You know, qualifying is important, starting position is, but we got one in the wall, guys.
One car up against the wall, the 09 of John West Townley. Oh, 2 or 3 more involved. The 05 of Casey Atwood involved. The 85 involved, that is Brad Baker. There's the heavily damaged Ford of the rookie Townley.
That started out as really a one-car spin and contact with the wall, but it got big in a hurry.
Yeah, it looks like Townley got up high coming off of turn 4 and got up in that dirty portion of the racetrack. Take a look at the replay here shortly and see what happened, but looks like the car, when I looked out the window and actually saw it, it was already sideways. Let's take a look here. Yeah, just a little loose, Andy.
Wiggle. Gets up out of the groove, and it's real dirty up there, so he loses the car and makes some contact with the wall. Not heavy, and then you got the car. So here comes Mike Harmon, and wow. Riding with Stephen Wallace right here.
Outside.
Just going down the front straightaway.
Still there. Outside. Still there. Outside quarter.
There's a second impact. Casey Atwood, Brad Baker, the 85, the 07 of Mike Harmon. Good job by the 52 to get downstairs and go around him. Kevin LePage could have been swept into it. So lap 3, turn 4. First caution flag of the night here in Nashville, Tennessee. 4 cars involved, and the 09, the most heavily damaged, the rookie John West Townley, already in the garage area.
The NASCAR Nationwide Series at Nashville, coverage presented by Pennzoil under a quick caution just 3 laps into the race when what started with 1 became a 4-car pileup in turn 4. While they clean up, our look at our J-Ski news and notes. NASCAR has countersued Jeremy Mayfield, filing a lawsuit Friday saying Mayfield, among other things, violated his contract with NASCAR by racing while using a combination of substances in violation of NASCAR policy. After a 9-team test Monday and Tuesday at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Goodyear says all is in good shape for the upcoming All-State 400 at the Brickyard. And double file restarts for Sprint Cup races beginning tomorrow at Pocono. The race procedure change announced earlier this week receiving very positive response from drivers and fans. What about from TV analysts?
Oh, man, I'm so excited about this, AB. This creates an opportunity. It takes the entertainment value up. The only problem with it is cars that are more than a lap down. But, hey, they got to deal with what they got to deal with anyway. It's going to be fun to watch. And I talked to Stu Grant at Goodyear. He is excited about the opportunity to get to Indy and have a great race with a great race tire. It's going to be a good show.
And by the way, when we may see double file restarts in the Nationwide Series, maybe next week in Kentucky. We'll have to see. Cars being brought down pit road to give the safety workers out in turn 4 a chance to clean up the track. Pit road is closed, so no stops among any of the front runners. And let's check with Shannon Spake.
Well, we're on top of the hauler right now with Richard Childress. 700th nationwide start between his 2 cars out on the racetrack. Sean Case, Stephen Light, 2 young talents. Tell me your thoughts on these 2 guys.
Well, I wanted to come over and watch him tonight, and you know, Sean, this will be his first race with us, and I think he's going to do really well. He's got some experience, and we're watching him, and we've also got Stephen Light, and then you got to look in the background. I got Austin Dillon and Ty Dillon coming along too, so we got a lot of young talent coming along.
Yeah, Austin Dillon just graduated from high school. Richard Childress watching on as his young drivers on the racetrack look to get it done tonight.
Sean Case running 11th in that 2-car. Stephen Light 5th on the speedway at the moment in the Holiday Inn machine. Childress, of course, one of the most successful team owners in NASCAR Nationwide Series competition. 700 starts, 3 driver championships, 4 owner championships, 53 wins. He's had a little bit of success.
TCP taking care of business, man.
There you go. Still clean it up here in Nashville. We'll come back in a minute.
Game 2 of the NBA Finals is tomorrow night on ABC. Dwight Howard and the Magic will try to regroup after a 25-point loss Thursday night. And boy, how great was Kobe Bryant. 40 points, a personal best in finals play. The NBA Finals on ABC tomorrow, 8 Eastern. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern with GMC NBA Countdown. Mike Breen, Jeff Van Gundy, and Mark Jackson will have the call. Under caution for the first time out here at the Federated Auto Parts 300. We are finishing the cleanup on the racetrack. And while we finish that, let's go down to the garage area where Jamie is caught up with a rookie, John West Townley. And he has a destroyed race car, but the good news is he's okay. What happened?
Well, unfortunately, it was a good weekend up to this point. Out there on the back straightaway, there was an instance to where there was a guy on my inside, and he came up and got into my left side a little bit, and I think it probably could have taken a little bit of the aerodynamics away, caused it to push up the racetrack and getting those pebbles up there. But I did the best I could trying to save it, and unfortunately, it didn't do much damage to the rear. But the real unfortunate part about it is we got somebody else into us. Unfortunately, there were two or three wide racing there coming through there. We were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. But really is a shame. These guys worked real hard on this race car, and I feel like yesterday was a real good practice run, and I mean today, awesome qualifying effort we had. It's just a shame it had to end this way. But we'll get that Zaxby's Ford out there next weekend and see what we can do with it.
Hey, Doc, on a lighter note, this team was able to raise over $13,000 for the American Red Cross.
Was trying to give back here after the devastation that took place here back in April on Easter weekend. The 96 car is our Aaron's Lucky Dog Free Pass winner here in the first caution flag tonight. Willie Allen, by the way, qualified back in 17th. Good qualifying for Willie, but he slipped back and got a lap down early. And now he will get back on the lead lap by virtue of the free pass. Our leader, Kyle Busch, all 11 laps thus far. Let's check in his pits. Dave.
And Doc, he has just experienced a caution where there was cleanup on the racetrack. His crew chief, Jason Ratcliffe, asked him to weave it back and forth and feel out those tires. Do you have any idea what he might be talking about, guys? Feel out those tires before the restart.
He's already told me not to comment on how many laps he leads. I'm
He called you out.
He called me out in the pregame show. Said, Jerry, don't talk about all my laps and my jinx. So, yeah, these guys have got to be very, very gun-shy because of the problems they've had the last few weeks.
Yeah, he knows what a flat tire feels like under caution, unfortunately.
Here's a pace car pulling away. It is Kyle Busch, then the rookie Lagasse Jr., Edwards, Carl Edwards, Michael McDowell, and Stephen Light in the top 5. Single file back to about 7th or 8th spot. There's Brad Coleman on the 20 car, and the 62 on the outside of him, Brendan Gaughan.
Okay, that was a good job on Brad Coleman's part, ducking to the inside and getting past Brendan. Looks like Brendan's trying to hold tough on the outside, though, not giving it up yet.
Here's a pretty good battle. 47 of McDowell under attack from Stephen Light. That is for 4th position.
Yeah, riding with Mike Bliss, you can see his car gets loose, has to get out of the throttle, loses a spot to Brad Keselowski.
Right on the start of these races, Andy, it's got to be really tough before these guys can get that pressure up. It seems like they just don't have any grip right off the bat. They're really taking it easy and pedaling those things, so to speak. It's kind of the hairy part of the race.
How about Scott Lagasse here? He's put some pressure on Kyle Busch.
Hey, I tell you, we need to stay paying attention to Lagasse. He's been getting better and better every week. Got a little involvement with Joe Gibbs. Gets a little help right there. Looks like it's showing right now. That car's been strong every week.
Lagasse, the 11 car, was the highest finishing rookie here back in April, finished 10th. He's run really well here in 2 ARCA starts, had a 4th place and a 6th place finish. So track familiarity really helps a driver when you come no matter what car you're in.
This is a race for 15th spot. Here comes Justin Allgaier on the outside of Trevor Bayne. Bernie Lamar trying to work the outside.
Saw Trevor Bayne the first lap of the race, guys, come off of turn 4, get really loose and lost about 10 positions. And I don't know if that car was just way loose at the beginning of that race, or it needs some more time or a pit stop or what, but it looked pretty evil.
We just joined our coverage. Trevor Bain in the 99 car, the 18-year-old, making only his second ever start in the series. Qualified on the outside of the front row, has now slipped back, driving the Michael Waltrip Racing Toyota to now the 16th position, but impressed a lot of people here today.
Yeah, and he pretty impressive. He didn't crash on that first lap when he got way out of shape. Jamie, you got more on the 99?
Hey, you guys called it. Loose is the condition, and Trevor came over the radio on the first couple of laps and said, I'm just not used to the way this feels. I'm not used to this kind of car. He said, I guess I got to just sit back and just kind of wait it out and let the car come to me. So he's just learning as he goes, guys.
Yeah, you just have to experience those things. You just don't know it. I mean, without starting one of these races and knowing what it's like, it's kind of hard to know.
5th position, last week's winner of the 88 car, and the guy who won his very first race here a year ago, Brad Keselowski. And he will slip on the inside of Stephen Light. And second spot now goes to Carl Edwards. And now Carl will set his sights on trying to reel in Kyle Busch.
Yeah, right after qualifying, Carl had a lot of confidence in his car. Was telling everybody, hey, the thing's got the feel I need. And I think I got a great car that can win tonight. And we talked earlier about how good he is in the concrete. I'm not going to go there no more. He just really loves this type of surface.
Well, I was down in the garage area yesterday, and they were changing a lot of springs and trying some different setups because Carl said they just haven't been quite good enough to win these races. Is that what you're hearing down there, Shannon?
Well, right now, Carl Edwards just saying he's a little bit free, but when you were watching him inside the garage, Andy, that was all Dan Stillman's notes. This is actually the first race that Stillman's been at that he's been able to use his notes. Of course, all the other races were Drew Blickensurfer's notes, and this car right here has not been on this track since the last Nashville race, and Carl Edwards is pretty confident, just a little free. Dave?
Shannon, in front of him in the lead, Kyle Busch seems a little bit vulnerable right now. Scott Lagasse was pressuring him just a little bit earlier. Kyle's radioed to his crew now. Turns 1 and 2, I'm good. Turns 3 and 4, I'm just a little bit tight. And he started asking about the line this 60 car was running, just to see if there was something he could pick up on how quick Carl Edwards was going.
You know, one thing I think it's really helped Carl on these races that are away from the Cup races where they got to travel so far. Usually they have backup drivers. I mean, Carl was able to do almost all this practice himself, get this car the way he wants it, and that builds a lot of confidence when he can do that.
Kyle Busch is a 3-time winner this year. Carl Edwards has not won in 2009. They began the day just 40 points apart, first and second in the championship hunt. So it is Kyle, Carl, back in Nashville, Tennessee, under caution for the second time tonight here. Another rookie, Michael Annette, the Des Moines, Iowa driver, and his Germain Racing Toyota spins around and has contact with the concrete. Lap 23. And he is the only car on pit road, although pit road is open. Most of the leaders opting to stay on the racetrack. Still way too early to come on. And we've had 2 rookies in trouble, bringing out 2 yellow flags.
See right here, Michael Annette just gets loose and gets out of the groove. Whoa, at the wrong place right there. Not enough room to catch it.
Yeah, I mean, the lap car or the 70 car wasn't close enough to him to get him loose. He really had a free track all by himself. And, you know, it seems like when they get off that bottom lane, get up in that second lane right now, early in this event, those guys get loose up there. And when you get loose that close to the wall, that rear end's going to touch and that baby's going to come around and knock the right front off. And that's what happened there.
62 in Brendan Gaughan also. There's Jason Leffler. He was the highest running car to come on pit road in 15th spot. Dave.
They were really, really tight, Doc. Driver saying as he now leaves pit road, do something. I feel like I'm on 6 cylinders. This car's plowing so bad. They changed 4 tires, made an air pressure adjustment for Jason. Also has some steering issues right now. Our in-race reporter, the steering feels stiff to him. Thinks the steering box or maybe the pump might be at issue here, but so far, it still works.
So we had 20 cars actually stay on the racetrack, including the top 15 who were the leaders going by. Then Leffler came down. He was running in 16th position. He led a group down pit road. He and Brendan Gaughan and others to make some adjustments on the cars.
Bernie Lamar also came down pit road under that exchange of pit stops. The front tire changer here, hitting the lug nuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good and accurate. Going off and on. That's the way you do it right there. Come around to the left side, knock all 5 nuts off. Wait for the jack. Wait for it. Here we go. New tire on. All 5 lug nuts. And gone. That's the way you do it.
I'm glad it's the first week for DJ Richardson on this race team. That guy's qualified. He's a really good tire changer.
He was a tire changer for you, Rusty Wallace, for a number of years. Said his career, one of his career highlights was winning at Martinsville with you on that Blue Deuce back in the Penske days.
Tough guy.
Kyle Busch has led all 26 laps thus far, and again, we are under caution for the second time today. Let's listen in a little team radio there with the Joe Gibbs efforts.
I don't want to piss you off, but you're getting off better than him in 2. I think he's out handling you down the straightaway.
We told you earlier that they were talking about the line that the 60 car was running. That's what they were saying. And so Kyle adjusting where he needs to. His car is still a little bit better, but then there are laps where Carl's car is better. So those cars are really close, Doc. As we get ready to restart, it should be a good race.
Great race, Dave, and I guess crew chiefs and spotters working together to be able to let these guys know who's running what line.
Oh, yeah, you're always watching for that because that line can change around in the middle of a run, and you want to make sure your driver's running where he needs to.
Well, we talk about lines. We haven't run long enough to get these lines moving around yet. It's only 26 laps in this race, and here we go.
Back to green flag. We'll see now if Carl Edwards can reel in Kyle Busch. Scott Lagasse still in third spot. Keselowski now up to fourth, and the challenge back for fifth. Again, here goes McDowell underneath the 29 car of Light to try to take that spot away.
See what I've been seeing, guys, early in these restarts. That 20 car, I mean, he has been really aggressive. Going to the top, going to the bottom. Brad Coleman, he wants to win this race, that's for sure.
Stephen Light able to hold off Michael McDowell on the outside. I really felt like when Michael McDowell got on the inside, he would get this spot, but he hasn't got it yet.
I know there's a lot of high hopes for that 47 car. That thing's been in a wind tunnel quite a bit. And I'll tell you guys, that's one of the best looking cars out there.
Pretty good battle back in the pack coming at you there. The 2 and the 66, Sean Case making only his second start. Driver for Richard Childress, and Stephen Wallace, 100th career start. Former pole sitter here. Stephen had a great run here back in April.
He really likes this racetrack a lot, Jerry. They've worked on this car very hard. I mean, the whole team is wanting their first victory, and this is an opportunity race, and all these guys are thinking the same thing.
Wallace makes the pass. Now Cale Gale in the 33 car. That's the Kevin Harvick and Delana Harvick owned car. Only race he will run all year. How hungry would this young man be to get that car to victory lane?
He's racing like this is his last race. It might be this year. So he's going to do all he can.
I tell you what, Kevin Harvick, that's a pretty good owner right there. If he does a good job, Kevin and Delana might let him stay in it for a couple more races.
Cale Gale, who sat on the pole in this car last August at Bristol and finished fourth, and he will move on to the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series for the remainder of 2009.
Looks like Trevor Bayne's car has come around quite a bit too. He's hung up behind these two. Now he's making a move on Sean Case.
I love the fact that we're talking about so many young drivers. And how about this matchup right here? Brad Coleman, 10 months he's been out of the car, now moving on the inside of the 47. Well, McDowell's got his hands full.
Yeah, he does. He's chased that car up high off turn 4. But like I said, Rusty, Coleman's been aggressive on these restarts, trying to make up spots. He knows this is a good opportunity for him too.
Yeah, it is a great opportunity. And what about that pressure? I mean, I really don't know what the guy's going through, because, I mean, here's a car that wins a lot. And being that car yourself, you're expected to get it done. He's probably got a lot of pressure. Take a look at that 99. Great pass on the bottom.
12th position, Trevor Bayne takes it away and over Sean Case. And now behind the 2 car, which is Case, is the 12 car. Another impressive rookie there, Justin Allgaier.
And Jerry, Justin didn't qualify real well, and it looks like he just needed some more time on the track and let that car come in, and it's marching towards the front. I've been watching it every lap. It's getting better and better.
He's gained 10 spots since the start of the race.
He told me in the garage area yesterday that he hustled the car too much in April, got impatient, and they had a problem on pit road, and he got more impatient, ended up bouncing it off the wall, and had a terrible finish here.
Tell you what, I've been there, done that one before. Got a little aggressive, trying to make up for something I screwed up on previously and get myself in the wall. And this young group of drivers here, they've got to be patient, aggressively patient, let's put it that way, if they're going to finish this race and have a good run.
We are 33 laps in the Federated Auto Parts 300 here in Nashville Superspeedway, and Kyle Busch has led all 33 laps, holding off Carl Edwards in second spot, Scott Lagasse, Brad Keselowski, and Stephen Light, the top 5.
As always, a lot of racing action on the ESPN networks every weekend. After we're done with NASCAR tonight, the United Association Route 66 NHRA Nationals qualifying, 10:30 Eastern Time. The finals are tomorrow at 4 Eastern on ESPN2. Over on ABC, the Traxxas Torque Truck Series presented by AMSOL. That's at 5 Eastern Time on Sunday. Then Sunday morning, NASCAR Now presented by 5 Hour Energy, the Pocono Pre-Race Edition, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, ESPN2. And we'll wrap up the weekend action with our NASCAR Now Monday Roundtable, 5 Eastern Time on ESPN2. Kyle Busch led all of the laps so far, 40 of them complete right now. There you see the gap from Kyle back to second place, Carl Edwards. Been talking about a lot of different faces in different places in tonight's race. Let's get up to speed with Nationwide Insurance, starting with Shannon.
Well, there's Stephen Light in the 29 car. It is only his second Nationwide Series start this season. I spoke to him right before he climbed in the car. He said he felt great. He said it took him a very short time to get up to speed in practice, a lot shorter than it did when he was here in April. He's working with crew chief Doug Randolph for the first time. He's also working with spotter Mike Dillon, who, of course, is Clint Boyer's spotter. Right now, the car is just a little tight. Dave?
Brad Coleman trying to chase that car down to get by him. That's that yellow number 20 here. Brad in the car that won here back in April, driving for Joe Gibbs Racing. In practice yesterday, he was asked to sit up on top of the hauler for a little while by crew chief Dave Rogers and think about his part, the driving part, because he was worrying too much about setup. Rogers says, that's my job. He worried about it overnight, made some changes, and now they're in their rightful places. Jamie?
And Trevor Bain started second, slipped back way back to about 18th position. Said the car was just way too loose, but he's being patient. Said as the track temperature comes down, the car is coming to him. He's happy, and he says he's learning as he goes. Behind him, Cale Gale in the 33. We touched on him a little bit, sitting 13th right now. His only start in the car this year for Kevin Harvick Incorporated. This is a kid who's worked for this company for years now. Delana and Kevin Harvick would want nothing more than to get sponsorship to keep this kid in the car, but sponsorship is the issue, so right now he's driving for a job. And Sean Case in the 2 car, guys. You can imagine Clint Boyer's at home or at the track in Pocono watching, going, man, that's the car I won with. So Sean Case making his first start for Richard Childress, and he told me today it's just a thrill of a lifetime to be here at the racetrack. He's trying to stay calm. Spotter is talking to him a lot, guys, giving him a heads up, trying to tell him what the best line is around this track. Alan?
All right, Jamie, thanks. So some stories on some of the different faces in different places in tonight's race, and we take a look at our Holiday Inn Express race summary. 2 caution flags so far in the race. Only one race leader. That's Kyle Busch.
Imagine that.
Put it in Nashville terms. Second verse, same as the first, or same old song and dance.
I'll tell you, and he is tinkering around. He doesn't quite feel that race car is perfect either. That's what's scary, and he is absolutely checked out on the field. Hopefully, Carl Edwards can get that race car underfoot and run him down and give us a race.
9 cars out of the race at this point. And there we go with 45 of 225 laps complete in the event. Expect pit stops from the leaders if we should see the caution flag. Right now, Brad Keselowski trying to back up his Dover win a week ago by holding on to 3rd position. Remember, he took this race 1 year ago. Can he catch the top 2? No surprise, the top 2 in the championship. Carl Edwards running second, 2 seconds behind Kyle Busch, the man so far in Music City.
Kyle Busch, our leader here at the NASCAR Nationwide Series at Nashville, presented by Pennzoil. He has led all 51 laps thus far. Great battles all around this 1.3-mile concrete oval. There's a 66 car. That is Stephen Wallace continuing to march. He's now in 6th spot, gone by Stephen Light. Behind him, the 29 car. That is Jason Leffler. Remember, Leffler, one of the cars that came on pit road and made a tire change, and he has now moved all the way back up to 10th position.
They said his car was very tight, and they came in and made a big adjustment on it, put tires on it, and it's really paying off. He's moving up quick. You got more on the 38, Dave?
Yeah, he said it's 10 times better as he now gets pressure from Stephen Light on the outside. And here comes McDowell right behind him, but 10 times better. The problem is, as he gets a little wiggle there, it just says it's not even close to what we had yesterday in practice. So they're still fighting it, even though he's made up position since that restart.
About caught himself in a little jam right there.
Ooh, they run out of real estate real quick. They start stacking up. Those guys did a good job, didn't they, getting out of the throttle?
Jason Leffler has had an incredible 2009 thus far. 7 consecutive top 10 finishes, and it all began here back in April. But we asked Jason Leffler, in order to win his championship or win a race, what's the key?
And another big challenge is Kyle Busch, you know. So if you can outrun him, chances are you're going to win the race on that particular day.
Pretty well sums it up. You beat Kyle Busch, you're probably going to win the race.
Got a tire going down or something. Starting to slide around like crazy. That's probably you're all trapped in dirty air there, bud. Nah, bud. I think I got something going on.
Yeah, he thinks he's got something going on there. He said he thought he had a tire going down.
I tell you, that thing's awful loose, but that 47 car is right up his tail, and that'll make you big time loose. He's been jammed in traffic there, guys. Not getting any air to that front end, Andy, or that rear spoiler. That's going to make the car handle bad.
Yeah, the car looks good right now. I think if he just settle down here, run a few laps, and maybe if he could get by this 29 car, I think he'd have a whole different attitude about his car. You know, like you said, that he probably didn't see what we saw when that 47 was basically touching the back of his car coming off the corner. That'll make you feel like you got a flat tire.
Well, I'm going to agree with you on that one. There's no doubt about that. When Michael McDowell was that close to Jason, I mean, I don't think he knew how tight it was.
Now let's see if it changes. He's able to get by Stephen Light and take the 9th spot away. Now Light behind him in 10th, and Trevor Bayne, as you heard him talking a moment ago, now marching back toward the top 10, back in the 99 car, and McDowell behind him.
He'll probably say, hey, Scott, I think it's okay now. It fixed itself.
McDowell now up completely against the 99 car on the front stretch. Pushes him by Stephen Light in the 29.
Well, if it's not doing right, getting away from all those cars definitely helped that 38 car of Jason Leffler. 47 car seems to still stay struggling just a little bit. And also the 29 car, Stephen Light, a little more struggle than I expected out of that team.
He slipped back to 12th spot now.
Now, we talked about this being an opportunity race for young drivers, but how about a guy that's been around a long time? 67-year-old Morgan Shepherd is our biggest mover, folks. He has now gained 20 positions from the start of the race all the way up to 23rd spot. And there's Morgan driving in his Chevy.
Now, Jerry, he's just not getting lucky here. I'm watching his lap times, and Morgan's doing pretty doggone good out there. I mean, it's a good-looking car. I mean, the body on it looks good. Looks like it's running down the straightaways, and I'm pretty impressed with what I'm seeing right now.
Andy, he's not out here just to make a race. He's out here to race the race.
Oh, that's all he's ever known.
His 13th place finish at Las Vegas early in the year.
He just loves racing, and he's doing a good job tonight. This is an opportunity for old guys, too, huh?
Absolutely. 67 years of age, 250-plus starts, and 15 wins for Morgan Shepherd. Well, leaders should be moving in on pit stops here pretty soon, as the top 8 cars have not been on pit road as of yet. So we'll watch and see if Kyle Busch, Carl, and company come on the pit road when we come back in just a moment. Working lap 64 of the NASCAR Nationwide Series at Nashville, presented by Pennzoil, and where leaders should be on pit road momentarily. Already had a couple come in. The 27 car of Jason Keller had a flat right front tire. He pitted on lap 61. Brad Coleman has been on and off pit road. There's Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 81 car coming in for 4 tires. Of course, Bobby lives in nearby Mount Juliet, Tennessee, one of the local favorites here. As he leads, we'll mention that Scott Wimmer has been on and off pit road in the 40 car, and we're still waiting for Kyle Busch and Carl Edwards and Brad Keselowski, their front 5, to be able to come on the pit road. And Andy, it shouldn't be long.
No, it should be the next 3 or 4 laps. You'll see all of the leaders come in. I think when they saw that tire going down on Jason Keller's car, like I said, it makes people a little bit nervous. If they feel something funny, they're probably going to come on in. And you see the 99 car now on pit road, Trevor Bayne.
99 right side of your screen, that is Trevor Bayne. And he's coming down 45 miles an hour headed toward you, Jamie.
And first pit stop with this team, Trevor Bayne started second. Remember, the car started coming to him as the track went down, the cool down. He's going to take 4 tires and fuel for the 99. Doc?
Making only his 2nd career start in the series, and been very impressive here. Even more impressive when he held onto a loose race car in lap 1 and kept it out of the wall. Here comes a 29 down pit road. That would be Stephen Light. Shannon.
Mike Dillon calling Stephen Light into his pit box, letting him know when to stop. This car needs a lot of work. Stephen Light is not happy with it. You saw that wrench in the back window. That is a chassis adjustment. 4 tires. He said it is very tight. He's been battling that condition since the green flag.
And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the 16. Remember, had some big shoes to fill, but he was ready for it tonight. Been struggling with his race car throughout the night. He slipped back quite a few positions, started 19th. We have a spin, Doc.
Sean Case has spun trying to get on the pit road, and he will get the car turned around. We will stay green because it's on pit road as the leader now is in, Kyle Busch, to get his 4 tires.
You see Kyle Busch getting 4 tires, and he almost did the same thing. He got loose there, Dave.
Yep, they're going to help the exit of the corner with a wedge adjustment. They also made an air pressure adjustment for Kyle as well, and he's off pit road.
Dave, Carl Edwards in that 60 car says the car is perfect in 1 and 2. He says it's just a little bit tight in 3 and 4. He told his crew chief, Dan Stillman, do not affect the balance. Air pressure and 4 tires for Carl Edwards.
Edwards leaving, Michael McDowell coming in, as is the 33 car of Cale Gale. These are cycles of leaders' pit stops. Here is McDowell. Dave.
Here's the race car that has been tight. The orange car gets a wedge adjustment in the rear window, or maybe a track bar, guys. Looks like it goes down there in the back, so they will try to raise that track bar and make that a little bit better. Air pressure adjustment as well for McDowell. Remember, very good here in the spring. Very good car here again tonight for the 47 team.
33 comes out behind him. By the way, a penalty too fast on exit for the 11 car, Scott Lagasse. That will be a pass-through penalty and a costly one for the driver who was running in the top 5. Here's Stephen Wallace in. Dave.
Stephen Wallace doesn't want any adjustments to this race car. It's been running pretty well for him. He's moved his way steadily into the top 10. They will change 4 tires, take on a full load of Sunoco fuel, and make their way back off. But it's nice when you can say no adjustments, and he leaves. Shannon.
Dave, Mike Bliss was so happy with his car in qualifying. That one car you see right there on your screen. He said, boys, I'm ready to go win another one. Right now the car is a little bit tight. They are going to make an air pressure adjustment, and Mike Bliss is out of his pit box.
Tremendous amount of confidence from Mike Bliss and the entire James Finch team, given what's happened to them the last few weeks. Not only the win, but how well they have run with this one car, as well as their Cup entry, picking up that big win at Talladega with Brad Keselowski driving the Cup car. Brad Keselowski in the 88 car, and he is our leader. He should be coming on the pit road here this time by.
He's the last car that of the leaders that did not pit at lap 25. And these other cars like Jason Leffler, he's going to have 25 extra laps that he can run before he has to make a stop. So these cars are going to be kind of vulnerable to that because they didn't make their pit stop under caution.
You got that right. That would make me really nervous if I knew that I'm out there and I got to pit and I'm a lap down now. And guys that pitted earlier into that caution are looking pretty good right now. If the caution comes out, they'll get them all a lap down. Dave?
Brad said he needs to start out his runs a little bit looser, so they will take air out of the left rear tire, and they will take on 4 tires. They'll also fill it full of Sunoco fuel. They'll hold the mayo until they get that full, and then they'll set Brad Keselowski back off pit road. It looks like a good stop, and he's gone.
Last week's winner at Dover and last year's winner right here in Nashville, Tennessee, pulling back on the racetrack after going 72 laps on a tank of fuel. Well, with that cycle of pit stops, the guys that came in on lap 25 are up toward the front. Kenny Wallace was the leader. He has now come on the pit right now. Jason Leffler has gone by him as the leader. There is Jason. Talked about he is our in-race reporter tonight. Got his very first win at this racetrack back in 2004. And we're talking about the 2-car and the issues he had. Sean Case making only his 2nd ever start in the series. Here's the problem trying to get in the pits.
Yeah, it's just tough to get it as much as you can and try to get down and gain time and coming off that racetrack too fast and not having the experience to know how to handle that.
See Justin Allgaier. He thought the caution might come out and started to come down pit road and realized when he didn't, he pulled back up on the racetrack.
No, it cost him a ton of time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's probably the right move thinking the caution would come out. In fact, when we saw it, I thought it was going to come out, but the 2-car Sean Case got that thing refired, and because of that, 12-car lost a ton of time.
Now, the top 8 cars on the racetrack right now pitted at lap 25, so they've got about 25 laps extra they can run on these guys that made their pit stops under green.
So with that cycle, we expect these guys will be on the racetrack, and then we're going to keep an eye because Kyle Busch is going to be motoring through these guys to try to run down Jason Leffler and company. It is Leffler, Kenny Wallace, Brendan Gaughan, Eric Darnell, and the 70 car of Shelby Howard.
NASCAR Nationwide Series at Nashville Superspeedway. Brought to you by Nationwide Insurance, official auto insurance partner of NASCAR. Toyo Tires. Toyo Tires is driven to perform. And Toyota, moving forward.
While we continue under green here in Nashville, a reminder that Game 2 of the NBA Finals is tomorrow night on ABC. 25-point win for the Lakers in Game 1 Thursday night. Dwight Howard and the Magic going to try and regroup. But how about Kobe in that game?
Kobe dropped 40 on
Personal best in finals play. The NBA Finals on ABC tomorrow at 8 Eastern. Coverage starting at 7:30 Eastern with GMC NBA Countdown. ESPN.com has more information. Interesting little situation here in Nashville right now. Different pit stop schedules ongoing. Jason Leffler is your race leader. Kyle Busch led the first 67 laps. Leffler and a bunch of guys pitted at lap 25. The leaders made green flag pit stops between laps 63 and 73. So what it's left us with is 9 cars on the lead lap, and that car, the 88 Brad Keselowski, in a very perilous position. He was the first car lap down. He's not anymore. He's got to chase somebody down and try and continue to put himself in that first car lap down position were the caution to come out before these other guys have to stop.
This is totally messed up, my chart I've got over here. I'm all screwed up. But yeah, he's got a good opportunity. But as the race goes on, as laps wear on, he's going to get run down. He's going to be caught.
May also have a chance to try and catch Jason Leffler and unlap himself the natural way, if you will, without the help of the free pass. We will see. And again, all that just if the caution were to come out. Now, Brad's brother, Brian, in the race. You see the logo on his car, that of the Detroit Red Wings. The Keselowskis from Michigan, and obviously big Red Wings fans. Well, Brian's had that logo on his car for nothing, basically, just to support his team playing in the Stanley Cup Finals. Well, that was taken note of. And Brian was the guest of the Detroit Red Wings up at Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals in Motor City last weekend, a game which, by the way, the Red Wings won. And got introduced, had video of his car shown on the Jumbotron.
Oh,
big
that
deal.
is cool. Good stuff, man.
And
Good stuff.
being a hockey guy, I was hesitant to tell that story because my Bruins are not in the playoffs anymore. Yeah. So, Doc, that's pretty cool, huh? When your favorite sports team, you do something just to support them, and they say, hey, come on out.
Yep. Yeah, he got a nice ovation at Joe Louis Arena last Sunday night when he was there. And everyone, they showed his car on the Jumbotron and said, wow, how about a great Red Wings fan and racing here on ESPN and ABC each week in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Good for Brian Keselowski.
Guys, it looks like about another 5 or 6 laps before these guys have pitted. Lap 25 hit pit road, and this whole situation rights itself again. But right now, still pretty vulnerable for those guys that had a pit just a little while ago.
Possibly some issues arising on the 38 car. Dave?
They're the ones we reported earlier on the steering, but they seem to be getting worse. Jason complaining, I think I'm losing power steering, and I'm not looking forward to that. They'll need to pit about lap 95. Tim Brewer in our Craftsman Tech Garage, is there anything that they can do on that pit stop to try to help the power steering?
One of the things you can do, Dave, is this is a power steering reservoir. If it's leaking fluid out, you got a line loose, just a little bit of fluid going away, it's going to cause the pump to cavitate, actually pump air. And anytime the pump has cavitation in it, you get an irky feeling or a tight feeling in the box. And one thing a driver does not want to stand is something to do with the steering and the gas pedal and the brake pedal. Those three items have to respond at a driver at any time when he's having a problem with them. Makes them very unstable.
Thanks, Tim. And Rusty, how about the power steering? If it starts to catch you and pull you, I know you drove before they had power steering, and afterwards, how difficult is that for Jason?
Well, that's really difficult, Jerry. I mean, for a driver to have to negotiate that. But, Andy, I tell you one thing I've heard last weekend, there were several drivers starting to have problems with firewall bushings actually locking up as it gets hotter and hotter around those exhaust systems. And as he said, it's getting worse and worse and tighter. It makes me think that maybe it is that firewall bushing.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's important. Got a couple cars on pit road. Bernard Lamar peeling off, make his pit stop. Kevin Conway continuing on down.
There's Lamar, who lives here in Nashville, Tennessee. And you see Kevin Conway, second start of 6 in the Joe Nemechek Toyota.
I would expect to see Jason Leffler and Kenny Wallace, Brendan Gaughan, some of these guys starting down pit road in a few laps. See, Brad Keselowski now has caught Jason Leffler. Going to unlap himself.
Until tonight, Jason Leffler had led just one lap in the first 12 races of the year. That lap was at Charlotte, and he has now led 20 laps in a row, but that's going to go away here in another 4 or 5 laps as he will head to pit road.
Yeah, we're starting to see these guys now that pitted on lap 25 starting to hit pit road now. Kind of onesie, twosies at a time, so to speak, and I think around lap 95 is when everything's going to happen.
Cool, bud. Pit this time. Remember, keep your RPMs up as much as you can for your steering.
Okay, there you go. Leffler was the first one that hit on 25, one of the first guys, and now he's coming down pit road the next time. So, Andy, I think a lot of them are going to follow.
Yeah, you heard Scott Zividelli, his crew chief, saying keep the RPMs up just in case that, that's the problem with the power steering. They want to make sure that they keep it where he can steer it when he does get down the pit road, because right here is where it's really difficult. You got to chase that steering a little bit.
See all the smoke coming out of the back of the car. That yellow line right there is where the timing mark starts. One of them, and they've got to get that thing rode down there.
Boy, it seems like an eternity at 45 miles an hour getting all the way down pit road. And Dave, he's headed toward you.
Yep, it's slow, Doc, on pit road, but that's a safety factor, and that's a good thing. They'll go to work on this car in the way of fresh rubber, an air pressure adjustment, but they will not go under the hood right now to try to give any assistance to that power steering. Jamie.
And Eric Darnell in the 6 car making his second start this year with this team. He said he just needs to free it up just a little bit. Remember, he pitted earlier. He was on that front spot of the top 8 cars, guys. It's going to be 4 tires and fuel for the 6th of Eric Darnell.
But Kyle Busch, while that's going on, guys, Kyle Busch is just setting sail, just trying to put these guys down all he possibly can. And watching his lap times, he's actually really not the fastest car on the racetrack. He's one of them. And the last time by, Carl Edwards was actually the best car on the track for speed, him and Brad Keselowski.
And your younger brother, Rusty, Kenny Wallace, is being shown as the leader. Now, he and Brendan Gaughan are the 2 cars that are left that have to come down, as is Shelby Howard. There's a 28 car. And a great run for Kenny Wallace, the former 3-time most popular driver and 9-time winner here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series.
Tell you what, I'm not just saying this because he's my brother, guys, but he's been doing a great job in that U.S. Border Patrol car, really giving a good run to that car, and is hoping for some strategy to pay off right now. If this caution did fly, he'd have everybody a lap down.
Here comes Morgan Shepherd on the right side of your screen. Morgan was running in the 8th position.
Yeah, he moved up in there with that strategy. He has a good pit stop right here. He's going to try to just stay on the lead lap if possible.
See what a difference those fresh tires make for Jason Leffler, able to pull back on the racetrack and just go sailing by on the inside of Kenny Wallace.
And that does put Leffler back on the lead lap.
So Kenny Wallace, the leader, Brendan Gaughan in second spot. Both those guys pitted on lap 25. Then Kyle Busch has moved all the way up to 3rd after moving up through the field. Back and forth is Shelby Howard, one of the cars yet to pit. And he would be the last of the 3 cars yet to come on pit road who made that stop back on the early caution flag.
You can see by looking at the ticker, there's only 8 cars on the lead lap until Kenny Wallace makes his pit stop.
Tell you about Brendan Gaughan right there in the U.S. Fidelis car. I mean, they are getting killed. He's coming down pit road now. You see his hand out the window, waving off the car behind him. That's Kyle Busch. He's losing a lot of time out there staying out in those old tires, but he had to do it in case a caution flag flew.
Yeah, once you pick that strategy, you got to stick with it until you play it out. And if a caution did fly, it would have been a great break, but it didn't. Here comes Brendan Gaughan, Shannon.
Brendan Gaughan described this car in 2 words, dog tight. It's been tight the entire race. You see those guys over the wall, they're going to take 4 tires. They did make a track bar adjustment on their first pit stop, which was on lap 25, but they just want to give Brendan Gaughan a little bit relief in this 62 car.
So Gaughan is in, so is the 70 of Shelby Howard, and a pass-through.
Ether.
He needs ether. Kenny's just run out of gas. Andy, you know what that means?
It means he's out of fuel. Calling for the ether.
Ether.
Yeah, he's kind of in a panic situation. He knows he's out of fuel. he played this strategy all the way to the end, trying to catch a break.
We might explain what he means by ether coming on pit road.
It's just a can of ether that you use for starting fluid, and it helps get the motor started back up.
Now, the problem he's got right now, the engine's not running.
Kenny. 2 tires, guys.
I don't think it's running real well right now, if at all. And coming out pit road probably doesn't have a tachometer to control the speed. Or
Yeah, you see the Federated can. The ether into the cowl opening. It's going to be hard to get it started. It's still going to take a little bit to get this thing fired off. They can only push this thing 3 pits, and then they have to stop pushing.
The ether combustible spray to be able to get spark in the carburetor, but so they can get the carburetor and the engine to turn to be able to pump fuel up there.
This is a tough break. It finally does take.
Go. He's gone.
Now he's going.
So they might have stayed out 1 lap too many. Kenny Wallace stayed on the racetrack to be able to lead, and frustration down there in the U.S. Border Patrol pits. Tough break for Kenny, who had led 7 consecutive laps. Well, the cycling of pit stop is completed. Kyle Busch back up front, Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski, Brad Coleman is 4th, and now Mike Bliss being shown in 5th position. Just 6 laps away from halfway point here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series at Nashville, presented by Pennzoil. And you see NHRA qualifying coming up later tonight, 10:30 Eastern Time. Finals tomorrow at 4 Eastern Time. The Traxxas Torque Truck Series presented by AMSOIL, 5 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow. That's on ABC. And, of course, NASCAR Now presented by 5 Hour Energy, 10 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow on ESPN2. Sort of pre-race edition prior to the Cup race at Pocono. And, of course, on Mondays, the popular roundtable discussion, 5 Eastern Time, NASCAR Now on ESPN2, led by Alan Bestwick.
Looks like I'm going to have to sit home all day tomorrow watching TV, doesn't it?
I'm going to be there. Kyle Busch now cycled back around as we are just now 4 laps away from the halfway point. Kyle has led twice for 76 laps. And obviously, they must have made some adjustments to his liking.
That air pressure really helped me turn. If I get it to the perfect mile an hour, dude, it cuts.
It's fun to listen to Kyle describe his craft and to know that what he just said is it's not me slowing the car down to get to that perfect mile an hour. He's driving that thing as much as he can every single lap to get it to operate correctly. Now, Andy, would that be fun to adjust on a car for a crew chief for a driver like that? Or is that tougher when he has to drive it so hard to get it to work the way you set it up?
No, Dave, it's good to have a guy that drives that hard. Anytime you've got a guy that pushes the car like Kyle Busch does, it exposes what the car needs quickly, and that helps the crew chief make decisions real easily on what to do and adjustments to make. So that's exactly the kind of driver you want in the car.
I like that type of driver. One thing I like about Kyle, from what I hear from a lot of people I talk, he calls for his own shots a lot. I want this shock, I want this spring, I want this air pressure. A lot of the drivers just say it's pushing or it's loose and let the crew chief, engineers all make all the decisions. Kyle makes a lot of those decisions himself because he's in the car, he knows what he wants.
And he has a great relationship, great chemistry with Jason Ratcliffe, you saw there on the near person on the box a moment ago. Pretty good battle here, brewing for 10th position. Trevor Bayne and Cale Gale. Gale in the 33, Trevor up high in the 99 car.
These are the last 2 cars on the lead lap. You see, if you look just behind them, there comes Kyle Busch. So they're not just racing each other, they're racing to stay on the lead lap.
Kyle Busch will come by and get the crossed flags, signifying that we are halfway home here in Nashville,
Got a car
Tennessee.
against the wall, guys, in turn 4.
There's a 26, and the Red Wings up against the board. Caution's out.
What's going on?
Ryan Keselowski scrapes it, and it will bring the yellow out for the 3rd time. So exactly at halfway, we are under yellow flag, and now we, crew chief, everyone came down and pitted. Well, these guys pitted back on 68, so got to believe they're going to be coming on for fresh rubber.
Oh, yeah, they're going to come in for tires and make a few adjustments here and see if they can catch Kyle Busch. Get a little reset.
Yeah, this basically can get everything back in order. I mean, there were so many haves and have-nots out there that this caution flag is one of the first ones we've had. Got to get everything straightened out. It's getting darker out there, too, guys. Track's cooling down a lot. Cars are getting tighter.
How many times have I heard you say that they're going to come in and adjust, see if they can catch Kyle Busch?
Yeah, I know. That's I'm sure a lot of guys getting frustrated at just how fast this 18 car's been. He's been very hard to beat.
Well, Cale Gale and Trevor Bain were loving this caution flag right now because they were close to getting lapped.
I was
Really helped
watching
him out.
Second place Brad Keselowski was actually running lap times very, very comparable to the 18, but he was 6 seconds back. This helps him close that gap.
The 47 car, there's Michael McDowell, who qualified third. He will get the Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass, so a good break for Michael, getting him back on the lead lap. That'll now put 12 cars on the lead lap. It is Busch, Keselowski, Edwards, Coleman, Bliss at top 5. Then Leffler, Stephen Wallace, Light, Keller, Gale, Bain, and now McDowell. Those 12 cars on the lead lap as we work caution here for the third time tonight.
All the guys up on the wall ready to go. You see right here, Keselowski will try to close this gap just a little bit as they get to the entrance.
He's about an inch.
Here they come down. Let's go down to our Toyo Tires triple pits. Shannon.
Well, Doc, one thing you don't want to hear your driver say is we went the wrong way. That's exactly what Carl Edwards says. He says the car is just too loose, can't get back to the gas. They're going to go one round down on the left rear wedge. 4 tires for that 60 car. Dave.
Second place Brad Keselowski will make some changes to that race car. Air pressure adjustment in that car just a little bit tight. Your leader car Busch will come down pit road. 4 tires for him. Another air pressure adjustment. Front tire carrier Brad Donaghy will slap a piece of tape on the front of that car as well because just a little, it's right on the edge of loose and tight. There goes the tape on the car. Well balanced for Kyle. He goes off second.
So, wow, a little strategy there for Jason Leffler, plus 5 spots.
Gets right sides. He had some fresher lefts.
And a piece of tape on Kyle Busch's car. That'll cost him a spot. Maybe it'll help his race car. We'll update what that will do with our experts when we come back in just a moment. A special night that he will never forget. June 12, 2004. Kyle Busch looked to be the man, but suddenly runs out of gas and pulls it off in the grass. But how about a win? Oh, yeah, they somehow on fumes. Jason Leffler able to come down on the flat of the racetrack and pick up a memorable first career victory in the NASCAR Nationwide Series and gets that coveted Gibson guitar here in Nashville. He's our in-race reporter. He is our leader. Let's speak with Jason.
Jason Leffler, Rusty Wallace, ESPN. You got us?
Got you loud and clear, Rusty.
Hey, buddy, we were hearing early that you're having some steering problems out there. Has that thing fixed itself?
It's tough to steer. I mean, I wouldn't say I don't have power steering, but it's definitely not keeping up, and then especially when I get in traffic and get the RPMs down and everything, the wheels just jerking out of my hand. So I'm having a hard time in traffic, but so we're just kind of running our own race here, but we should be all right.
Well, it looks like you and Scott got yourself in good position right now. You're doing a good job fighting that thing. How's this strategy going to play off for you? Feeling pretty good about it right now?
We'll see here. We're going to lose some spots here definitely on the start, but we couldn't afford to put tires on. We had to put tires on early, and we just want to make sure we don't run out of tires at the end of this thing. So if we can maintain back where we were running, 5th, 6th, 7th there, come in for the last stop, adjust on it, we're going to be in great shape and get this great clip. Lane.
All right, man. Well, thanks for talking to us. We appreciate it. Go get him.
Andy, he made a very important comment there because they were running out of tires late in the race, and in this series you are limited to just 6 sets of tires.
That's for the whole weekend, not just for this race. They already burned up one of those sets in practice, so they did, and they made an early pit stop and used up a set of tires, so they just wanted to save it here and only had 20 laps on this set, so that's why they didn't put tires on.
And you could use those tires later on, certainly as this race progresses. Well, we have our Verizon wireless mailbag, and if you'd like to text your question to 8610, standard messaging rates apply, standard texting rates apply, or go online to ESPN.com to submit your question. This weekend's question comes from Heidi in Monterey, California. And Rusty Wallace, she heard about, they just announced the double file restarts for the Sprint Cup Series. Can you explain what this means?
Well, they're going to have double file restarts right now. Instead of the cars lining up on the outside and all the lap cars on the inside lane, it's going to be the first car on the inside, second car on the outside, third place car on the inside, just basically like the start of the race. And if somehow you got trapped in the front and you were at the tail end of the longest, or tail end of the lead lap, so to speak, we hear a lot, you would get waved around. And that's something that's going to change in NASCAR. Stay tuned. A lot of people are still confused how it's going to work out, but NASCAR informed us. Doc?
And if we had it right now, what that means is that Leffler and Kyle Busch would be side by side, and you would have Edwards and Keselowski 2 by 2 with other lead lap cars up front, which I think is a great move by NASCAR. It'll give us much better competition on the restarts.
Going to be a lot of fun. We'll see the start of it at Pocono tomorrow.
Yeah, how about when they get to Martinsville or Watkins Glen going into turn 1? That's going to be fun to watch. All right, Ken Leffler, hold on. Remember, he talked about he might be a sitting duck here, not having changed tires. And here goes Kyle Busch.
He's a sitting duck for sure for Kyle Busch with fresh tires against Jason Leffler with 20 laps on his. And a little steering issue. See Eric Darnell in the 6 car. He's the first car 1 lap down.
Yeah, Carl Edwards actually is the 3rd place car. It is a 60 car, then the 88 of Keselowski.
Guys, a lot of times these guys are a lap down on that inside lane. They just don't feel like they can race those leaders. They really don't want to get in their way, but with this new rule that NASCAR is doing, everybody's going to be racing everybody, and I think this rule is pretty cool.
Carl Edwards having trouble now getting by his teammate, the 6 car.
Now we got some 3 wide action getting into 3. Sorts itself out, but Legacy gets loose, chases it up the hill.
Legacy a lap down, and again they're 3 wide. There is Stenhouse in the 16. The Bliss in the 1 car is on the lead lap in 7th spot.
Careful, guys.
Oh, 3 doesn't fit right here. 1 or 2 good.
Still in the middle.
Still 3 wide.
Still in the middle.
Okay, now we're sorting back to 2.
Yeah, that's that veteran of Mike Bliss knowing when to back out because, man, when you lose that air to that car, that baby gets loose in the center. A lot of guys spinning because of that situation, and Bliss got away with it.
Yeah, Bliss in the 1 car is 7th. Behind him, Stephen Light in the 29 is 8th.
Guys, you see how they're so racy right now? 3 wide, 2 wide. I got to believe, Andy, I know I'm harping on this new rule that NASCAR is doing, but I got to believe we're going to see a lot more of this style racing when that rule happens because they can race everybody instead of staying away from the leaders.
Yeah, that's the difference. We've got lap down cars racing in among the lead lap cars. You won't see that with the new restart rule because they'll all be racing the cars that are on their lap.
Right now, there are just 12 cars on the lead lap. Whoa, trouble.
Big crash off turn 4.
Right behind you. Yellow is
4 or
out.
5 cars
Yellow
involved at a
Another
turn
big
4.
mess over there. There's going to be debris everywhere.
That was huge.
Sean Case involved. The 99 of Trevor Bayne, the 27 of Keller.
Doc, a lot of the hopefuls that we were talking about in our show, Cale Gale's involved in this thing. Big damage to the front of Kevin Harvick's car.
Stenhouse car just destroyed in the front end. Got oil leaking out of it.
And this is the 2nd car that they've lost now. They really wadded one up in practice, guys. Now, Jack Roush has taken 2 destroyed cars home from that 16 team.
There's Jason Keller. Now, he was 6th in the point standings on pit road. Here's the 33, Cale Gale. His only start of the season.
Yeah, it's not what he wanted out of this. See right here, Stenhouse gets loose off turn 4 and then stacks them up. See Keller nowhere to go. All these cars just victims of this.
When Sean Case really gets a piece of, he really did the right thing when he saw Stenhouse spinning. He slowed up and get hit in the back.
Looking back from Mike Bliss, you see Stenhouse get sideways, and then suddenly they just all stack up.
Caution down. Caution down. Caution down.
Here's Kevin Conway. We're riding with him, and oh, look what he looks at. Cars everywhere and he slipped through.
Great job. I mean, he did a good job picking his way through that mess right there.
There's Stenhouse. Watch the 27 and 2 come up across.
Yeah, once the contact happened with Keller and Sean Case, that was what involved a lot of cars there.
You know, I'd be interested to see the right front tire in that 16 car because it looked like it was a little soft. Like maybe it's going down. When it came by, it looks like the sidewall was really flexing. And if that right front was going down for Ricky, that could have caused his spin.
So again, the cars involved here. 4th caution flag of the night. Ricky Stenhouse. There's Cale Gale in the 33 car for Kevin Delana Harvick. 27 car of Jason Keller, the 6th place man in the points. The 2, there is the 2 of Sean Case involved, and the 99 also involved Trevor Bayne. There's Case's car. He is back on the racetrack, but considerably beaten up. Five cars involved in an incident coming out of turn 4 on lap 124. Now Kevin Conway somehow gets through all this. They're spinning, they're sliding, and he threads the needle to get by.
quiet moment in Nashville. Reminder about Game 2 of the NBA Finals tomorrow night. ABC, Dwight Howard and the Magic try and regroup after their Thursday night loss in Game 1. They will need to get past Kobe Bryant, who dropped 40 on them in Game 1. 40. The NBA Finals on ABC tomorrow, 8 Eastern. Coverage starting at 7:30 Eastern with GMC NBA Countdown. More information is at ESPN.com. It's quiet here in Nashville because NASCAR's put out the red flag to allow the cleanup crews a little freedom to work without the cars buzzing in and around them. There's a lot of oil to clean up around the speedway. You know, all I could think of, Brad, watching the replays of that accident was guys sitting up in Pocono in the Sprint Cup drivers motor coach lot. Some of them going, oh, and some of them going, oh, yeah. Let's see, Kevin Harvick owns that car.
Yep,
we had the car owned by Michael Waltrip involved, the 99. And then there was the car that Joe Nemechek owns, the 87, that somehow finds his way right through the middle.
He needed some good luck, and he got a little break there. But just some of these guys are really upset. Ricky Stenhouse. This looks like that right front tire might have went down just a little bit. Just came out from under him. It's like he was on black ice and created a lot of melee here.
And those little JTG Doherty car there, the 47. Another team owner. He's not in Pocono, but he's happy. So cars involved in the wreck: Stenhouse, Keller, Case, Trevor Bayne, and also Cale Gale. We mentioned Keller. He is with Shannon.
Alan, he considers this his home track. Baker Curb just about 30 minutes away. I know you guys were looking for a strong finish here tonight. What happened out there?
We had a great car. Really just we cut down a tire early, but it cycled around, and we're running great times. Car was good all weekend, so I want to thank State Water Heaters for coming on board, but just disappointing. I guess a little bit of inexperience, trying to push it too fast up there, but you know, we all had to get experience somewhere, sometime, and just unfortunately we got caught up in it, but yeah, Baker Curb's here, local, and wish we'd have run a little bit better. I mean, wish we'd have finished better. We ran great, but it's a bummer. I mean, I felt like we could get up there and contend for that first top 5 for the year, and you know, I don't want to complain about the inexperience, because I was inexperienced one time too. Just a byproduct of what we have to go through.
How you think you guys are going to be able to get this car fixed up?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we're riding that points battle. We're 6th coming in, so we got to battle hard, and just you know, the guys have worked hard. We had a fast race car, and it just shucks. That's all I can say. You know, it is what it is, and Dad's at home. He's a little under the weather, but hope I was going to give him something to cheer about, but unfortunately it ended a little short.
Doc, you can hear the disappointment, but spoken like a true veteran, huh? Dave?
Shannon with Jason Ratcliffe, now crew chief for Kyle Busch. I want to take you guys back to a conversation you and I had about instant messaging. You send all of your changes and everything that's going on with your race car down to Dave Rogers in the 20 car. And you told me the only time you don't like it is when your buddy is playing catch up and you're in the lead. That's the case right now. They're throwing all kinds of things at it. You're seeing what they're doing. Does it make you question, should I be doing more for Kyle?
Well, it always does. When you're out front like this, it's easy to, I don't want to say get complacent, but when the car is good, you don't want to do anything stupid. So you want to keep working on it and making it better, and thus far we've been pretty successful at that tonight. But you're right. I mean, when I look back there and I know what kind of changes those guys are making, and they're winging on it, they're swinging hard, you want to do enough to win the race. You don't want to sell yourself short here at the end. So it's a fun game. It's a chess game.
And on that note, do you want to change Kyle's car anymore based on how it's been since the start of that run?
I haven't talked to him since we started. We made another adjustment right here. We've only run 4 or 5 laps green. Obviously, it took off good because he jumped up there and got the lead. He's pretty happy with it, but I'm sure we'll have to keep working on it because those guys behind us will be working on it.
All right, they will continue to monitor the situation for Kyle. Jamie?
And Cale Gale has been checked and released, and knowing that this is the only nationwide race scheduled, how much of a heartbreaker is this, Cale?
Oh, man, it's really a heartbreaker. Our Ream Chevrolet was really good. Ernie tuned it up right there for the next run, and it looked like somebody got turned around in front of us there and got turned around from behind. Just a chain reaction deal, wrong place, wrong time. But just want to thank Kevin Delana for giving me the opportunity, and hopefully next time we'll go back and get him again.
What's next for you?
Looking like a Canadian series in August. Hopefully we'll go up there and have a good time, but really sucks tonight. I mean, 33 cars been running strong all year, and Kevin and Ryan and Tony Stewart and even Kelly Byers here at Nashville in the spring. We just really a heartbreaker, but hopefully we'll be back to get them soon.
Well, this guy is a hard worker, Alan. He works in that KHI shop, paying his dues. It's unfortunate it ended tonight.
Cale Gale was running 12th at the time he was involved in the crash. Jason Keller was running 9th. Trevor Bayne 10th. Let's see, Ricky Stenhouse was 18th at the time he was involved in the crash, and Sean Case was running 20th, again, at the moment of the accident. So under the red flag with 98 laps to go here in Nashville, Kyle Busch leading Jason Leffler, Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski, and Brad Coleman, but they're parked for now.
And welcome back to Nashville Superspeedway. Still under a red flag condition. We had a big pileup that involved a lot of our young guns that we have been touting and talking about all night long. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. joins me now. We just watched the replay. What did you see and feel there, Ricky?
It's just, first I want to apologize to all the guys involved. There was a lot of good race cars involved, and did not want to end this way. We had a rough weekend to start to the weekend, and our City Financial Ford Fusion was pretty decent. We were just kind of logged some laps and finish the race was our main goal. And the lap before it got really, really loose, and I ran way up the racetrack there, and then I don't know, I went down in 3 and 4 that time. It just got really loose again before I started to pick up the throttle. So I'm not sure what happened. I might have just lost it, but can't say for sure.
That turn 4 gets you. Last time we were here, that's where you crashed. Yesterday in practice, that's where you crashed. What is it like mentally to try to overcome something on the track that bites you like that?
It's definitely pretty tough. We made some laps last night after practice, and it was kind of shaky there off of 4, and we were really good in 1 and 2 all day today. Just lost so much time in 3 and 4, and was getting better and better, easing into it, and I don't know what happened.
All right, well, the good news, he'll be back in the 16 car for the next 2 weeks, Doc. He can get another shot at him.
That is great news. The young man is just so talented, and what a disappointment here. We talked about the opportunity for so many young drivers, and there were the guys involved in the crash. 2 of the 3 of those guys involved were in the top 10. Back with more from the Federated Auto Parts 300 here in Nashville, Tennessee in just a moment. Under a red flag here, the NASCAR Nationwide Series at Nashville, presented by Pennzoil. We are just past the halfway. In fact, 98 laps to go here. We've had 5 leaders and 7 different lead changes. If you like the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and we hope you do, you'll join us next week at Kentucky. And, of course, there have been 3 first-time winners the last 3 times we've gone to Kentucky Speedway, then Milwaukee Mile, New Hampshire. Well, how about Daytona in July 3rd? Tickets are available www.nascar.com/tickets for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Our in-race reporter, the 38 car, Jason Leffler, being shown in 2nd spot. And a moment ago, we heard this on his radio.
Are your muscles all pumped up? Yeah, major arm pump up. That's cool. Hey, I can encourage you this way. Remember when Smoke won Sonoma with no power steering? You're definitely in better shape than he is. Yeah. I still find that hard to believe, but yeah.
By Smoke, they're referring to Tony Stewart, and they're having some fun with their driver, Jason Leffler. Now, let's talk about the power steering issues they're having. Why don't we go down for a little more show and tell in our NASCAR Craftsman Tech Garage. Here's Tim Brewer.
Thank you very much, Jerry. Hey, folks, when the guy's turning the steering wheel back here, Rusty's talking about the bearing that sits in the firewall. It's actually right here that the steering shaft comes down through. But if that bearing gets really dry, it might be just a little problem getting through it. But still yet, I'm betting it's the power steering fluid itself. Some guys use a remote reservoir, and it sits back in this area. But still yet, anytime the fluid returns in this area, it has to get back to a solid form before it goes out the bottom, or you get that pulsation in the steering wheel. If it was me, if I was Zeffirelli, I'd come in and overfill it because I think it's power steering level. Doc?
Thank you, Tim. We appreciate that. We might mention some of the guys that have been on pit road here in a little early. The 2 and the 29, the 47 coming in, taking on tires. As the red flag is over, the cars are rolling, and when we come back, we'll wave the green flag. Kyle Busch, the leader. Leffler, Edwards, Keselowski, and Coleman, the top 5. Pace car pulling away, and Kyle Busch will lead him down to the green flag here. It'll be 94 laps remaining in Nashville, Tennessee. Kyle Busch has led 3 times for 92 laps. Jason Leffler in 2nd, then Edwards, Keselowski, Coleman, and Stephen Wallace up in 6th spot.
It's amazing how that 18 gets started on these restarts.
Tell you what, he's been so good. Almost every single race, just taking off, rocketing away on those restarts, Andy, like you said, and that's won him a lot of races.
Challenge for 3rd spot. Here's Brad Keselowski on the inside. 2 of the Concrete Cowboys. Keselowski's got 3 wins on concrete, and Carl has 5.
Like I said, that last green flag stint we had, the 88 car was just as fast as Kyle Busch, if not just a little quicker. Now he's kind of closed the gap here with these cautions. Maybe he can get up there and give him a little competition.
Yeah, this has been one of the first times all night long that Brad's been that close to Kyle Busch, and let's see what he's got. His lap times have been really good. I mean, at times better than Kyle.
Keselowski will take the spot away. The 11 car Legacy, by the way, showing a lap down, still running well in 13th position.
Tell you what, you see Jason Leffler falling back. Andy, I got a question for you. I mean, he's got 20 more laps in his tire. Jason does. I don't know if I would have pitted that car or not. I maybe should have.
Here's a gaggle of cars back in, that is 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. The 20 car, Brad Coleman, is in the 5th spot, or now the 6th position as Stephen Wallace has gone by.
Close quarters racing right here with lead lap cars and lap down cars.
Mike Bliss in the 1 car being shown in 7th. Stephen Light behind him, then McDowell.
All these cars are on the lead lap now. See Brad Coleman making a move. Here goes Carl Edwards for that 3rd spot. He gets it.
Bernie Lamar will try to follow Carl Bob. Bernie, by the way, a lap down. So it is Edwards now moving into 3rd. Leffler back in 4th spot, and Coleman still back in 5th.
You know, getting back to this 38 car, I want to talk about it one more time. You know, he had the opportunity to pit that last time and get back in sequence because there's only like 9 cars in the lead lap. But he elected to stay out, Andy, with 20 laps more on those tires. And to me, it looks like he's paying for it just a little bit now.
He might pay for it a little bit right now, but they were trying to save that set of tires because they made an extra pit stop early that the other cars did not. So this was a way for him to kind of reset at least the tires that he has left in the pits to be equal with the rest of the guys. He is going to give up a little bit right here, and we heard him say that he thought he might give up a few spots. But that was a way for him to save a set of tires.
That's the reason I asked you. I knew you knew the answer.
Jason Leffler is 3rd in the point standings, and it's all been done with the fact that he's been so consistent lately.
My cars have been really fast, really consistent. I feel like I go into any race every week knowing that we can win. Where before I always thought we could win, but our consistency from week to week wasn't there, and now it is, and it's paying off with the top 5 and top 10 finishes for sure.
He has had 7 consecutive top 10 finishes, and all those that actually started back here in April when he finished in 6th position. And you see there the last 10, he is by far the best average finish moving in. So they said if they could probably just hang with top 10 finishes, they got a shot to maybe be a factor in his championship down the stretch.
Yeah, he's going to just try to stay in contention, and these guys have been so solid. I was talking to Zipadelli about it today, and they have had their chances to win, too. They've had themselves in position a couple of times. It didn't work out, but they have been in position to win a couple of races this year.
5th, 6th, and 7th on your screen. Brad Coleman getting back in the Joe Gibbs car after being out of the racing for 10 months. Then Stephen Wallace behind him, then Stephen Light. Let's update the 99 car back in the garage area. Jamie.
Well, Doc, he was one of the young guns, started 2nd, was running top 10, got caught up in that wreck. Now they replaced the trailing arm. Jerry Baxter, crew chief, underneath the car, working feverishly. They want to get back out. You see that window net is up, so hopefully Trevor Bayne will make it back out, guys.
Very important to get him back out, Andy, for just for the reason of getting him some lap time and some seat time.
Oh, yeah, they just want to try to make laps. That's the only way you get better. Got some great racing right here with Stephen Wallace and Brad Coleman going at it right here. Oh, we got a little contact.
And Stephen gathers it back in, keeps it out of the wall, and now Stephen Light will take advantage of Coleman having to jump in the brakes and take that spot away.
It looks like Coleman got the short end of that deal.
That's one of those deals where Stephen's coming up and he's passed him through the center, and that spotter's up there going, I think he's clear. I think, oh, maybe not. You're on your own.
Okay, now you're clear.
My bad.
Didn't mean it.
Stephen Wallace having the best run he has had this year. His best finish was 7th at Bristol, and he had a 9th place finish at Nashville here back in April. Now, Kyle Busch has about a 1.5 second advantage over Brad Keselowski. Let's give you some speeds here as they come by at the line and see actually who is fastest on the racetrack.
It looks like Kyle Busch was the fastest that lap, but Carl Edwards was 2nd quick. For a few laps, Brad Keselowski was actually the quickest car. They're all in free, clear traffic here, so what you see there is what really kind of what the situation is.
We've seen all year long where that guy that's out front just got so much, that clean air gives you so much more downforce on the front of the car, on the back of the car, and he can just set sail and get away. But, you know, Andy, how much do you think this track is changing right now? Because it is getting much cooler out there. These guys did a lot of practicing during the day, a little practicing at night. You got to believe it's the coldest the track has been.
Oh, yeah, it's just going to get quicker and quicker as you get down to the end of it. And that's why they have to make all these changes on pit road to keep up with that speed change.
Look at the contact that's caused an issue there on the left front of the 20 car.
You see some hard racing coming off turn 2. Now we're on the straightaway. Whoo, a little contact right there. And Steven just about knows that thing in the wall if that had been just a little tougher tap there.
Well, I taught him to keep that thing out of the wall like that. Give it maybe a little back steer. Don't give up, man.
Still
Stay in the
there.
throttle.
Outside. Clear.
That's how it went.
Good, bud. Settle in, drive away.
He hit him with a bottle of barbecue sauce.
No. Looks like the 20 car just glanced the wall a little bit just then, guys. Got close to it at least. Tell you, Brad Coleman's been doing a great job all night long, though. I mean, that's a fast car. We all know that, but he's been driving it real smart.
Brad will be in that car for 8 races. Of course, and excited to get back in with Joe Gibbs Racing. Said he'll win one of these. He's made a promise, having a good run here tonight. Kyle Busch, the guy they're chasing, though, right now with 81 to go.
Kyle Busch has led the most laps in the last 3 straight Nationwide Series races, but not one for a variety of reasons. He doesn't want it pointed out.
Jerry and the guys in the booth need to stop jinxing me. When it comes down to the end of these races, they keep talking about this or keep talking about that. Well, oh, Kyle Busch, he's led the most laps. He hasn't won, blah, blah, blah. Quit it, Jerry. Just don't even put the camera on me, okay?
All right, Doc, I'm going to take the heat for this one. Kyle Busch has led 112 of the 150 laps we've run and has clinched the bonus points for leading the most laps. He led it halfway. And by the way, the leader at halfway in Nashville has not won in the last 5 races here. So that one's on me. He's up by 1.8 seconds now. We're beginning to open a fuel window. Andy, yes?
Hey, Alan, you know they're not over till they're over.
That's right. How long have we been saying that, right? There you go. He's got a lead of a second and a half on Brad Keselowski, does Kyle, and we're beginning to get into a fuel window for a final set of pit stops. So let's talk with some of the top running teams about what they might be looking to do for their cars to run with that 18. Up to speed with Nationwide Insurance. Dave, you're first.
And Alan, how does he keep running away? Well, he thinks that on the start of his runs, his car can't be quite as loose as it was. After the start of this run, he said, too free. I need it to be tighter. I can see that 88 coming. The 88 is going to probably stay with what they have because he has been making up positions. They lost a spot on the last round of pit stops. We're a little bit concerned about that, but the driver confidently chirped back, I'll get the spots back. He has, and he's closed ground on the 18 of Kyle Busch. Shannon?
Dave, looking ahead for the Carl Edwards in the number 60 car. The team is telling me right around lap 184. Carl Edwards says the car's pretty good, just a little bit loose. He said, if you can get that fixed up for me, we will be great. Now, he's got his eye on the 18 and the 88 in order to win this race. Dave?
How about our in-race reporter with the Armstrong steering on that car tonight? The 38 of Jason Leffler running in 4th position. His car has been running well, just a little bit loose, but it rolls on the right front. They're going to try to fix that on the next stop. Crew Chief Scott Cipodelli working on that car. They'll try to make him just a little bit faster for the last run. Shannon?
The 29 car, Stephen Light, really has been all over the place this race, and not just on the racetrack, handling-wise. Right now, it is loose and tight center. They are going to make some changes when they come down pit road for that 29 car, Stephen Light. Dave?
I talked to Stephen Wallace's crew chief, Dale Ferguson, during the red flag break there. He said, you know, we're really good. Stephen hasn't complained about the car at all, and we can run with just about anybody in the top 5. Maybe not the 18, but we're looking at hanging in there and Stephen to get some more spots, especially on the long run at the end of this race. Shannon?
Dave, Mike Bliss in that number 1 car, he did come down and top off on fuel on lap 129. He says that the car is pretty good. He just needs track position. Now, this is the guy who's coming off a win in Charlotte, and he really wants one here again tonight. Dave?
After the red flag was lifted, Michael McDowell brought the 47 car down pit road. They put on a set of sticker tires, the first stickers they've used tonight, but fresh rubber has picked him up 1 position since the restart. Alan?
All right, so there's 8th place. 9th and 10th, Brad Coleman and Eric Darnell, the only other 2 cars on the lead lap. Caution comes out now. We'd see everybody on pit road. Otherwise, it's about another 30 to 35 laps away from a green flag stop. Now, another thing I want to just point out, Kyle Busch has a 2.5 lead On second place, Brad Keselowski. He got a lot of that, Brad, because on the restart, the lap cars were down to the inside. The leader was gone on the drop of the green.
Yeah.
Second place had to race those lap cars. We get to that double file restart thing anymore.
Well,
that
it would be on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I hope that Brad hadn't used up a whole lot of his race car getting back to Kyle Busch, but he is faster, and he is coming. Once he gets past this car, it's going to be interesting, especially if we get another caution here for the next few minutes.
So 68 laps to go. Kyle Busch out front. Brad Keselowski trying to chase him down. Carl Edwards runs third. Another set of pit stops to go. And after what we've seen the last few weeks with Kyle, who knows what we're going to see in these last remaining moments of this race.
NASCAR Nationwide Series at Nashville Superspeedway. Presented by Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic. Our ultimate clean, your ultimate feeling. And in part by American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Visit us at AmericanStandardAir.com. And Toyo Tires. Toyo Tires is driven to perform.
Kyle Busch has now led 3 times for 125 laps. And Kyle, I'm sorry, buddy, but here's the deal. You have now led the most laps 6 consecutive races in a row. And he's won one of them at Richmond, but he's had all kinds of horrible luck. The right rear tire at Darlington, the rain at Charlotte, the right front tire at Dover. That leaves 2 left side tires and snow as the other things that could happen.
Doc, what are you trying to do to that poor guy?
No, we're not. I just want to prove to him that we're not going to jinx him. He is such an incredible talent.
I knew it was your fault. I just wasn't saying anything.
Okay.
But isn't that all the same stuff you always say before he has a flat tire or something like that?
He is not going to have trouble. I realize he's never won here at Nashville. He's got 2 top 10 finishes, but he's not been to victory lane here in the NASCAR Nationwide car. But what a run he's having tonight.
I'll tell you, he's picked up something here. He's found something on the racetrack because he's picked up a couple of tenths. He was losing time and ground to this 88 car, Brad Keselowski, but he's evidently moved his line around, Rusty, because I see now that he has picked up a tenth or 2.
Well, there's a couple things he could have done. Maybe back the corner up a little bit. He's not driving down as deep into the corner. These engines don't have a lot of horsepower, so the quicker you can get back in the throttle and make the whole corner, it might do it. That might be one of them. But Keselowski has been solid too. He's about a tenth of a second slower than Kyle right now. But a little while ago he was faster than Kyle. It's kind of stabilized now.
Last 2 times we've been here at Nashville, we've had a lead change for the win in the final 10 laps. Brad Keselowski in this race a year ago passed Clint Boyer with 5 laps to go to take the win. And Kyle Busch got passed back in April with 10 laps to go for the win for Joey Logano.
Hey, we'll take a look at Bobby Hamilton, the 81 car. I mean, he's given this car a good ride. I mean, it's a pretty good car, but it's a lot better car right now. Bobby's really worked on it, got it handling good, and good solid run, Shannon.
Yeah, and he was very happy with this car. He said about 15 laps in practice, he knew that this car was coming to him. He's most likely going to be behind the wheel of this 81 car in Kentucky, but right now, Bobby Hamilton Jr. says it's just a race-by-race basis, and he put stickers on that car as soon as the sun went down, and the cars really come to him.
And right in front of him is the 70 car. And give a call to Shelby Howard, the 23-year-old driver out of Greenwood, Indiana. Now, the Mary Louise Miller car, he just went around the 81 car to take the 14th spot away. And this young man, who was a modified late model mini sprint car champion, young ARCA winner at the age of 17, really starting to get it done here as he's developing as a Nationwide Series driver.
Yeah, he's getting his chance in this 70 car, and this 70 car has been pretty strong. Mark Green gave it a few good rides. This is a decent car here, and he's showing it.
Well, you need laps to get experience. And stays out of wrecks. Hey, man, I've been through that with Steven, wrecking so many cars early in his career. I said, you can't learn if you're always wrecking. And Shelby's doing a good job right now. All these young guys that are out here, they just need to finish this race and go back and say, man, boy, did I learn something tonight.
Let's update what's going on with the 88 car. Of course, he's the guy that won this race a year ago and won a week ago at Dover, Delaware. Dave standing by with his crew chief.
That's Tony Uri Sr. And Tony, did Brad's car slow a little bit, or did you think Kyle found something more in the 18?
I think Kyle just picked it up a little bit. He was sitting there running 80s. We was running 70s, 80s, and I think he picked it up a little bit. Got to run some 60s. I don't think we're capable of doing it. Like about the best we can do is 80s, 90s, so just have to see what happens.
What can you do for him on the final stop, do you think? What do you think you can do for him chassis-wise?
I don't know. He said that he knows he needs a little something, but he don't know exactly what he needs. Kyle's been tough
All right, thank you, Dave. As you watch the position change here for a 6th spot, and there is Mike Bliss now going by and taking it away from Stephen Wallace. And by the way, the 27 car, Jason Keller, is now showing us 44 laps down. He is back on the racetrack, so give a call to Todd Gordon and the whole Baker Curb crew to get him back out and try to gain some valuable points.
Points are everything, man. I'll tell you, if you can get that thing fixed and get it back out there, 5 points, 10 points, might sound like a little bit, but at the end, it's a lot.
All right, crew chief, we're going to have one more pit stop with maybe 35 to 40 laps to go.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. If we don't see another caution before then, if we see a caution, you'll see, all the cars on pit road getting 4 tires. But, I'm impressed with this 38 car. He's got 20 more laps on his tires than the other leaders. He's still hanging in there in 4th spot.
Yeah, Andy, I asked you about that earlier. I really questioned that call out of Jason Leffler in that 38 car. But these tires that Goodyear brought tonight are really holding up well. They're not falling off a whole lot. It seems like the first 10 laps somebody takes off, then they stabilize. So it was a good call on Leffler's part, and Scott Zipadelli saving that last set of tires.
So we are about 15 or so laps away from what should be the final pit stop here at Nashville Superspeedway. Kyle Busch, you know the story. He's led now the most laps, 6 consecutive races in a row. Can he hold on and get his first win at Nashville here tonight? Nashville Superspeedway, known for some late race surprises and fireworks here. Back in 2004, all the leaders up front get together, and guess who? Here comes Michael Waltrip from 22nd starting position. He would lead only the final 2 laps, but he's the one celebrating in victory lane. Here 1 year ago, 5 laps to go. Clint Boyer's the veteran, but here comes the kid from Michigan. And Brad Keselowski would celebrate getting that coveted Gibson guitar. Back in April this year, 19 lead changes, 15 times. These 2 guys went back and forth. And with 10 laps to go, it is Joey Logano going by his teammate. And Logano would pick up the victory here in Nashville, Tennessee. So, Andy, as they say, it's never over.
That's right. It's never over till it's over. Hope you haven't jinxed Kyle Busch.
Well, let's try not to. Let's find out with the pit stops coming in about 10 laps. Let's listen in and see what they may be talking about here on the radios. Here's the 18 radio.
So we'll do that half wedge, and I may do just a tick of air in the left rear to get you going.
Well, adjustments, they're talking about it.
Yeah, he wants to make his car just a little bit better. He's holding his own with the lead, but he looks in his mirror and he sees that 88 car kind of showing up every now and then. So they want to make sure they don't get behind on their adjustment.
And Kyle Busch is the leader, Keselowski second. But this 60 car of Carl Edwards hanging right there, maybe having the best or most consistent run he has had to date here in 2009. Let's listen into his radio.
Going to put a round of wedge in the left rear, and we're working on some air pressure stuff right now. Last time we took 1 pound out of both rears.
And whatever they did on that last stop really woke the 60 car up, because he has been the consistent fastest car on the racetrack the last 15 or 20 laps. The only problem is he's 4 seconds behind leader Kyle Busch. What he really needs is a caution flag to get this field reset.
Well, I'll tell you what, everybody needs a caution flag right now, except for a couple. And one of them is Stephen Light. He's the first guy. I mean, he can go. If the top 4 guys pit right now, Stephen Light's running 5th. He's got 13 more laps of fuel in that tank than everybody else. And so this could really mess everything up if the caution flag comes out while these guys hit pit road.
Leaders last pitted on lap 115, so we're guessing they will be in sometime in the next 8 to 10 laps, if not earlier than that.
And if they hit pit road, Light's going to be still out there. And that could put everybody in a big problem, except for Light.
Stephen Light, who pulled off the huge upset at Kentucky 2 years ago. One of 3 consecutive first-time winners we've had at Kentucky Speedway. We'll be headed back there next week. He's
running consistent lap times also. He's only about a tenth, maybe half a tenth off of leader Kyle Busch on his lap time. So he's still got, a lot left in this car.
Andy, the thing I can't believe, I can believe because Goodyear builds a really good tire. The top 7 cars are all running in the 30-90s. I've never seen a nationwide event where the cars are that close, that far down. The top 10 cars. And as this race is going on, these tires are actually getting faster. They're not slowing up a bit. Pretty impressed with what Goodyear's brought here.
We are in Nashville Superspeedway here, NASCAR Nationwide Series action. 300 miles, 225 laps, and we are just 40 laps away from the checkered flag. There's our leader, Kyle Busch, who has led 3 times for 148 laps. He flew down from Pocono, Pennsylvania, where he will drive in the NASCAR Sprint Cup race on Sunday. He will start 6th up there, trying to pick up his 4th win of the year, but the first time he would ever have won at this concrete oval in Tennessee.
Andy's really struggled in the past off of turn 4. We've talked about it many times. We spun the car out there a couple times. This particular racetrack has been ground to make it smoother off of turn 4.
All right, dude, we're coming this time. Handle it out here. I got to go get the 34. This time, 4,200.
And Kyle has said that's really upset his car a little bit in that corner, but tonight, no problem. Here he comes.
He's making sure they know he's pitting. You see that hand out the window? He's going to make sure that all the cars behind him know that he is going to drive his car hard down in the corner. But I'm turning left down here, guys. I'm coming down pit road this time.
Some of the guys have had trouble getting the cars slowed down and getting on the pit road without spinning it. And he's nice and smooth and easy at 45 miles an hour. And this will be the final stop, the money stop, if you will, for the 18 team of Jason Ratcliffe and company.
Long way down this pit road, all the way down to the number 1 stall.
Down in the left rear. Nice and smooth here.
See Jason Luffler coming in right now. He doesn't want to give up any track position with 18 having fresher tires. Dave?
To Rusty's point, a tight race car got loose only in turn 4 yesterday, so they went away from those adjustments yesterday. They worked hard on this car, got it to where they needed it today. A wedge adjustment for Kyle, just a little bit tight in the center of the corner. 4 tire change for Kyle Busch. It looks clean, and he leaves pit road. 38 car on pit road now. Air in all the tires to help the car take off for the final run. That's an upward air pressure adjustment. All 4 tires full of Sunoco fuel as well. Our in-race reporter now leaves pit road. Wonder if he'll key the mic and talk to us. I doubt it. He's a little busy. There goes Leffler.
See the 20 car missed pit road, and here comes Scott Lagacy down to make his stop.
Lagacy being shown a lap down in 14th position. The leader right now is Brad Keselowski. He is yet to come in as Carl Edwards behind him. Here's Lagacy in for what should be his final stop.
So you're getting right sides here. Fairly clean so far, coming around the car. Putting scuffs on. You see him grab the tires off the wall. A lot of teams scuffed the tires before this race.
And others coming down pit road, the 5th place car. Stephen Wallace in 66 for his final stop.
You got a little crash here, a little contact on pit road with Brendan Gaughan and Mark. I don't know where he's headed. He's headed to the garage.
Yeah, the Mark Davis headed to the garage area, and Gaughan gets
a lot of damage.
Heavy damage. Here is Carl Edwards, the 2nd place car. Shannon.
Doc, Carl Edwards says he needs a little bit more drive off that left rear. They're going to make a wedge adjustment, air pressure, 4 tires, and just 1 can of fuel for this 60 car.
Brad Coleman was having issues earlier with the damage to the car. That tightened it up just a little bit. They'll change, and now they look frustrated on that race car. He's not going anywhere. They only changed 2 tires, guys? I couldn't quite see.
Looks like they got 4, Dave, but they held him up to fix the fender there where he had damage from that earlier contact with Stephen Wallace.
Man, look at this. The 62 car gone. Looks like he was coming down for a normal pit stop, and Mark Davis was turning left to go in the garage area. Let's take a look at this one more time here, guys.
Yeah, Brendan Gaughan has his pit right past this opening, and Mark Davis was just trying to get to the garage area. Really caught Brendan by surprise.
I think Brendan thought that Mark was going to stay going straight to his pit stall, and he hung a left. Unbelievable.
Here's the 88 car, our leader now, Brad Keselowski, on the defending winner of this race, coming down for his final stop. Dave.
And he told his crew he wasn't sure what to do for it, so guess what they're going to do? Nothing. They're going to leave it the way it is, keep the pressures where they are, change 4 tires. The key here is a smooth, clean pit stop on and off of pit road, not to lose any more time to Kyle Busch when he goes back on the racetrack. Mike Bliss taking over the lead, as you see there on the left. That was pretty good. Let's see where he shakes out in position with the 18 car.
Watch the blend line as he comes back out and tries to get back up on the racetrack. Has to come all the way up off of turn 2 to be able to get up on the full throttle and up on the racetrack. And there comes Carl Edwards off of turn 2 behind him.
Yeah, you can see he gets up in front of Carl Edwards behind Kyle Busch, basically in the same slot they were in before the round of stops.
Also, the 12 car has been on and off pit road. Justin Allgaier, the other co-leader in the rookie standings. So Mike Bliss being shown the leader. Stephen Light, Russia, you mentioned these guys have a few laps they can run yet on their tires. About 8 or 10 more laps on fuel.
This is exactly how Mike Bliss won the last race he won at Charlotte. Able to go just a little farther than the other guys, and the caution fell just right for him.
Yeah, go a little farther, keep these guys a lap down, and right now it looks to me, I mean, I expect him in around lap 200, maybe 202. And this is a real scary time right now for the guys that, like Kyle Busch, where he's run so well. And now here comes Light in right now. Shannon.
Hey guys, Stephen Light just saying he needs to be able to roll through the centers just a little bit. It is tight through those turns. As you see those guys on the right side of the car right now, and they go around to the left side. It's going to be 4 tires. Doug Randolph been very busy on top of that pit box with this young driver here tonight. It's been a handful.
Just under 16 seconds. That now will lead 3 cars that have yet to pit. Bliss, the leader, Michael McDowell, and Eric Darnell. Those 3 have yet to come on. They are first, second, and third, and now those have pitted. Kyle Busch being shown back in 4th position. There is Mike Bliss, and as you said, Andy, it was pit strategy plus a little help from the weather that helped him get to victory lane in Charlotte.
He's going to give up some lap time by staying out here on these older tires after these other cars pitted, but like you said, that's how he won the last one. He's going to try to stretch this run and this fuel tank as far as possible. Maybe he'll get a break, get a caution, and have less cars to race.
Hey, man, take him any way you can get him. A long time ago, I said, hey, I didn't have the best car. I really, I won, but I feel bad. And my crew chief said, hey, dude, take him any way you can get him. A win's a win. But he's been running pretty good all. He's been in the top 10 throughout the night.
Saw Brad Coleman. He passed the one car to get back just 1 lap down. He was 2 laps down. Missed his pit, or missed the pit road and had to go around, and then came in and they had to work on that left front fender. You see the red tape on the fender and right there by the hood. Took a little extra time to try to fix the car.
Yeah, and that really killed him when he missed pit road and had to go back out to the track. That really slows you down quite a bit.
Got John Buslow, front tire carrier. Making a 2-tire stop.
Wow, look at that dust. A lot of dust.
Let's talk about the brake dust. I see a lot of brake dust on these cars when they come off.
And here comes Mike Bliss now, our leader down pit road for his final stop at the far end. Shannon.
Doc, he's got the #1 pit stall selection. They wanted to stay out to try to get a caution, but they told Mike Bliss he's got to be on pit road by lap 200. It's going to be 2 tires for this #1 car.
So, yeah, I kind of like that strategy right there, getting 2 tires, because it's not going to take a full tank of fuel. They didn't have to put 2 cans in, so they can make a quick right side stop, get out. And these tires, like you said, Rusty, have been holding up real well. The lap times have, so that's a good move late in the race.
I have not seen all year long these tires this good. They're always good. All right, here comes Michael McDowell.
No speeding on pit road, bud.
It's key right there. Don't speed on pit road and ruin your day now.
Did a good job getting down to pit road speed right there.
Good job by Gene Need, the crew chief, talking to his young rookie driver, and now he will come down for his final stop after leading 2 laps. Jamie.
Michael McDowell, 11th in points. He stayed out and got 5 bonus points for leading a lap. He's been fighting a tight car all night. They're going to loosen him up just a bit. Air pressure adjustment, right side tires for the 47, guys.
A lot of brake dust off these wheels. You see all that brake dust just roll out of that right front. 2 tires and gone.
Yeah, I'm amazed about this brake dust. We see it. Here comes Eric Darnell. Now, this is the last guy to pit. Everybody should get cycled back straight now.
Eric Darnell had gotten the lap down, got it back by virtue of the Aaron's lucky dog, and now comes down as the leader. Jamie.
Got off pit strategy early, Doc, so he comes in for his last pit stop. Hopefully, their goal is to finish top 10 tonight. They're battling for that rookie position. Eric Darnell making his 2nd stop. Down and away. Quick stop.
With that stop, they have all now cycled through, so we have 23 laps to go. Kyle Busch is the leader. Keselowski, Edwards, Leffler, Bliss. So we'll step aside and take our final commercial break of the night and come back all the way to the checkered flag and see what's going to happen here in the late laps. Can Kyle Busch really hang on? He just might do it. Inside of 20 laps to go here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series race presented by Pennzoil at Nashville, Tennessee. Kyle Busch has now led 4 times for 156 laps. And running in second spot is Brad Keselowski. And remember last week, it was Brad Keselowski who took advantage of a late race caution flag, and that worked in his favor, and he was able to make the pass and go on to victory lane. In fact, Brad Keselowski talks about how important these races are in terms of opportunities for teams like his.
Well, the standalone races are a great opportunity for my team, the 88 Nationwide team. You know, it's a chance for us to get back on our game. I think last year we scored a lot of points in those races, got us back in the title chase. So I think we're looking to do the same thing this year.
He may need another caution flag to be able to get up and close, but it was a year ago in this race, Andy, that he was able to run down the leader and take the lead, which at that time was Clint Boyer, with just 5 laps to go. But he's got his work cut out for him tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's got about a 2.5 second gap now he has to make up. He was running faster lap times there again for a few laps, but then this last time he beat Kyle Busch 4/10 the last lap by.
Now, we saw the incident on pit road with Mark Davis trying to turn in, and the impact with the 62 of Brendan Gaughan. Brendan Gaughan is very angry. Listen right now.
Find me that dumb wannabe college graduate. Do not let him leave this racetrack at all.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
No, I'm talking about the kid. He's not leaving this track till he sees me.
And Rusty, a lot of frustration there. I mean, he's coming out for a pit stop, and the 10 car is turning. I mean, he would have had maybe a top 15 finish.
Yeah, it's a big time racing accident. I mean, things like that happen. There's no doubt about that. Brendan was the first guy to get the lucky dog. He thought he'd get that lap back, and he's coming in for a normal pit stop. He just didn't know that Mark was going to hang a left and come in the garage area, and that's just a bizarre happening that's happened in the past to other people. I just haven't seen it in a while, but he'll cool down. Brendan's got a good head on him. He's just upset right now.
Now, in fairness to Mark, could a spotter have helped him and said, you got a car coming in to pit, stay out, or slow down and stay out of the way?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, though. I think he was, he was just coming down pit road, going to pull in the garage, not realizing these guys were making a pit stop right there at the opening, and that's the key thing. It was just an unlucky break for Brendan by his pit stop being at that garage opening.
Carl Edwards talked all weekend about how he had a really good race car. Yesterday, he was the fastest car in the final practice session. He is, time and again tonight, told his crew and patted him on the back for giving him a very consistent car. Maybe one of the best cars he's had all year long, but right now, he's hanging tough in third spot, still looking for that first win of the season.
But the key thing is they've made some ground up. They do have a fast car. He's got running fast lap times, but he's got that gap trying to make up on Kyle. But he has a fast car, and they have made some ground on that competitiveness they've been struggling with.
He's like, I just like to have one more caution, and so I get a little closer to him, because just like you said, Andy, his car right now, the last time by, it was right at 0.2 of a second faster. Shannon?
Rusty, and they've been working on this car all night. As I told you earlier in the race, they felt like they went the wrong way on a pit stop adjustment, so they brought him back down. They corrected it. Carl Edwards, as you said over the radio, said this is the most competitive we've been. So this car really, and this team really moving in the right direction if they want to hunt down that 18 team.
Well, they're solid. There's no doubt about that. And that's what's going to win you a championship, just constantly working on your car, adjusting to the conditions throughout the night. And now they got a good guy behind the wheel.
I said earlier that there was a 2.5 second gap between Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch. That gap is now 1.8 seconds. Only 10 laps to go, so Brad's got some work to do, but he's making some ground on Kyle Busch.
I got to wonder, what is Kyle Busch thinking right now after all the bad luck
he's thinking? He doesn't want you saying it.
Okay.
what he's thinking is they're probably telling him, hey, guy, guess what? Brad Keselowski's faster than you right now, and he's thinking, man, I don't need a caution, so I can have a green, white checker restart. He might get beat then if that happens.
Now, it is after 10 o'clock Eastern time. These guys, Kyle Busch and Carl Edwards, after this race is over, they got to get on the plane, fly an hour and 40 minutes to Pocono and run 500 miles tomorrow. Rusty, how tough is that?
Well, Jerry, it's really not that tough. I mean, they got pilots. They can sit in the back, get some sleep, and once they get to Pocono, we'll sleep in as long as you possibly can.
There he's got to watch. There's a caution. I want to come get two.
That was Carl Edwards saying that if the late caution, he's thinking ahead here. If the caution comes out, how can I win this thing? And he might want to get a couple of tires here to try to beat these guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, if it comes out, I could get two. It might catch, might get enough speed right there to outrun Kyle.
Remember, it was this stretch of races last year that Carl Edwards was able to make up some ground and really pull away because Kyle Busch struggled. Remember, Kyle Busch finished 20th here and went to Pocono the next day and finished 43rd last.
Yeah, and that's all about, you know, doing too many things. He, just like you said, Jerry, he did Texas in the truck. He did here. He did Pocono. He did all that. And spun out a couple times in Pocono, had problems there. And, man, when you're... He's pretty good, though. He's one of the best guys out there. And if anybody can handle it, Kyle can, that's for sure.
Okay, the gap's down to 1.3 seconds. Looks like Keselowski's having to deal with a little traffic on this lap, but let's look at the speeds at the line.
And that is the 7th place car that Kyle is pulling up on. Stephen Wallace, the last car on the lead lap as Kyle goes by.
See, Carl Edwards had the fastest lap that time by. We're inside of 10 laps to go, 6 laps to go, so the gap is now 1.5 seconds.
And let's check their speed one more time as they come by, see if Carl is still quick. And their leader will flash by.
You see there, Brad Keselowski was the fastest car that time. Well, then now Carl Edwards eclipses his time. But both of those cars faster than Kyle Busch. 5 to go, though. That's the key number.
And now the margin is just over a second. It was 2.5 seconds 8 laps ago.
That's exactly why Kyle doesn't want to see a green-white checker finish here. He wants to get this thing over with.
You're exactly right. And Kyle's negotiating traffic right now, getting through there. And he's got a lot of good cars he's been dealing with. He's got 4 laps to go right now. He comes across the line this time, and he knows he's just got to get through it. And Brad is looking at him going, man, if I can get him caught in some traffic.
Yeah, and here's some more traffic.
This track has not been kind to Kyle Busch. In 7 races here, he's got an average finish of 17th. He's led a bunch of laps, but he's never won a race. That could change 4 laps from now.
Kyle Busch knows it's not over till it's over, like Andy's been saying, and Alan down there in the pit studio, and Brad and the guys, because anything can happen. I mean, right now, the rate he's going, Brad can't catch Kyle. But if Kyle gets caught with some more traffic and a caution flag comes out, it's a whole different story.
Yeah, but he's thinking, I'm going to make it this time. I've had enough bad luck. I've paid my dues with all this bad luck. I'm going to get to the finish tonight. And he's only got 3 laps to go.
I bet he's saying, I hope Jerry Punch doesn't talk about me, too.
Well, I'm going to prove to him that I am not the jinx, as we keep talking about what an incredible talent he is. And, folks, for the 6th race in a row, Kyle Busch has led the most laps. I realize he's only won 1 of those 6, or 1 of the 5 before. That was at Richmond, but he is 2 laps away from changing that here tonight. What a performance. He led 4 times for now 171 laps, and he'll get the white flag this time by.
Kyle's just thinking, don't want anybody wreck. No wrecking going on right now. Don't want to have a green flag wreck or start. White flag's out.
He can take a breath now.
Flag.
38 car being shown in 5th position, Leffler. So it is Kyle Busch, Keselowski, Edwards, Bliss, and Leffler, the top 5.
The gap's down to 1 second, but it's white flag. Bring it home for Kyle.
Kyle Busch, 2 more turns, and he becomes the 5th driver to win on all 3 concrete racetracks. Kyle Busch comes out of turn 4 and wins for the first time in Nashville, Tennessee.
What's up, guys? Thank you. Woo! Everybody's going to get a piece of guitar tonight. Oh, yeah.
I wonder if he'll let you play that guitar, Jerry.
See there, we didn't do a thing wrong, and he gets him a Gibson guitar.
Jerry, you said how hard will it be on Kyle Busch going back to Pocono? This cat's got so much adrenaline flowing right now, it won't bug him a bit.
Well, he has led over 1,100 laps now in 2009.
Keep your hands off that guitar. Woo, yeah, finally.
Picks up his 4th win of the year. And unofficially, the point margin now will grow to 65 over Carl Edwards. There's Jason Ratcliffe. Well done, Jason, and all the Joe Gibbs crew.
Finally had an uneventful night to bring it home. You can tell Kyle's happy. This is one he wanted.
Well, after having so many problems late in the race, I mean, he's thinking probably finally everything went smooth. I dominated. I had no problems. Baby, we got the trophy, which is a cool trophy of that Gibson guitar.
Freaking awesome.
Boy, he knows how to do those burnouts. He's got a lot of practice, though. Holy cow. I don't know what happened there.
That is cool.
And listen to these fans. They love it.
Look at that. He caught the track on fire. Man, that's a burnout right there.
I'll tell you what, I saw Steven burn out at Kentucky one time and caught the whole car on fire. I saw it again just now.
And Kyle will typically climb out of the car, get on top, wave to the fans. Let's see if they get that bow. Yeah, there's the bow. Got to run up and get that checkered flag. At 24 years, 1 month, and 4 days, Kyle Busch becomes the youngest driver in NASCAR nationwide history to now win 25 races. Wow.
Man, that's a lot of races. He's checking out. See if he's even got some rubber left on those tires to make it to victory lane.
He's like,
you know
where did this fire
if it
come
ain't
from, man?
spectacular, it ain't no fun.
There are the teammate crew chiefs.
Dave Rogers, the crew chief on the 20. These guys work very close together.
While Kyle climbs back and heads to victory lane, Jamie is caught up with Carl Edwards.
And Carl Edwards watching that incredible burnout over there. But Carl, same outcome this week. You're chasing the 88 and the 18, but do you feel like you guys made some progress this weekend?
Oh yeah, we made some progress. I mean, that 18 bunch, they've had bad luck, and we've been able to capitalize on it, but the fact is we're going to have to run better, and tonight was the most competitively we've run for a long time. So got to thank Ortho. I didn't have any bugs in the car. That was good. Save a lot. And Ford Motor Company for everything they're doing, especially the fans for coming out here. And yeah, that was more of a burn up than a burn out, but hopefully we'll be doing those soon. We've got a great team here, and we just got to keep it going upward.
Thanks, Carl. Let's go to Shannon.
Jamie, down here with Brendan gone, we saw the contact with the 10. We heard what you had to say on the radio. You obviously are a veteran compared to Mark Davis. What do you want to let him know?
Apparently get a better education at Georgetown than Howard University. I'm full of all one-liners. I got nothing really good to say. U.S. Fidelis Chevy was a top 10 Chevy. Got caught a lap down. We were going to battle our way back on, and I don't know if his crew chief's dumb, he's dumb, or his spotter's dumb, but middle of a race, you end up turning left while people are coming down pit road for green flag pit stops is asinine. I mean, maybe he needs to look that word up. I don't know.
All right, Brendan gone. Very disappointed, Jamie.
And Brad Keselowski watching the comments there. Brad, another second place finish. How good is this stretch going to be for you guys to gain some points to keep your eye on that prize and that championship?
Yeah, well, we did what we needed to do. Ran up front, put ourselves in position just like we did at Dover, and just didn't catch the break we caught at Dover. But we were there, and, you know, Kyle knew we were there. He knew we were back there, and we just put a little bit of pressure on him, and hopefully we'll force a mistake. But just need a little bit more to get up there and pass him and beat him.
All right, he's keeping that pressure on the 18, Doc.
Well, we talked about the opportunity week here at Nashville Superspeedway, an opportunity for someone to get their first win, and indeed it was. Kyle Busch gets his first win here at Nashville at this racetrack tonight.
I mean, I'm not surprised by it. Nobody's surprised by it. I mean, I think what we're surprised is how happy Kyle is because of the problems he's had. I mean, he closed the deal. He finally got it.
Yeah, and there he is. He's in victory lane enjoying the spoils of victory.
He has led so many laps, Dave, and so many times in the late laps the disappointment has come around, but not tonight. Kyle Busch, 6 races in a row he led the most laps, and he goes to victory lane tonight.
Doc, it was May Day when Superman last visited victory lane. He put out the distress call. Lady Luck answered, and some other superhero like Captain Domination or something, because he tore it up tonight, and let's see. Oh, he's going to do it. The guitar. That's a strong guitar. All right. Your crew liked the burnout, said that was spectacular. Now this is a little different too. Talk about the night and everything that happened.
What an awesome race car. What an awesome group. These guys here, I mean, I owe it all to them. You know, it's great to be able to come back here and finally get this monkey off our back, whatever it's been. But I want to thank the fans and everybody at JGR, all the guys at the shop, do a phenomenal job for us. NOS Energy Drink, Z-Line, Marquee Jets, of course, Gillette and Toyota. You know, everybody that makes this possible for us. It's just been hard couple weeks, so I'm out of breath. That was a lot of running right there. But, you know, it was fun. I mean, this night was good. Kozlowski was better than us at the end of the race. But I was just trying to be conservative and not let anything happen again.
Now, you're a racer. I mean, you like competition, so you saw the 88 coming. You think they're getting closer to you?
Yeah, they're definitely fast. At the concrete tracks, they've always been fast. You know, you go back to 2004 with Truex. That's Tony Eury Sr., you know. And those guys are fast, so they know what's going on. I know it was Bono Mannion as a crew chief then, but it was still DEI stuff. So, you know, they're fast for sure. Carl, I don't know where he ended up, third, so he's still right there. You know, he's in the hunt a little bit further back, but still third. So, decent night for us. Of course, in victory lane, it's awesome, but, you know, this was meant for the team. These guys here, it was very cool.
Kyle maintains the points lead, and everybody gets a piece of guitar. Jamie?
And Jason Leffler lost that power steering, manhandled it. How tough was it to bring it home to fifth?
It was really tough. I mean, but where it showed up in traffic and on his restarts and stuff, if I caught people one-on-one, I could go by him, but just getting in hard, and it was just ripping the wheel out of my hand and stuff. But we'll work on that. The guys, Scott Zipadelli, all the guys did a great job. Pit Road, the guys have been doing a great job for me all year long, and I got to thank everybody at Braun, Great Clips, Dollar General, all our sponsors, and Todd Braun, Ralph Braun, the whole Braun family for what they do, and looking forward to going to Kentucky and maybe getting that 50 grand that Nationwide's putting up.
Well-earned top 5. Alan?
He is finally done.
I've come to this conclusion about Kyle Busch, Brad. He hates to lose. He loves to win, and he's good.
Absolutely tremendous competitor. Another great evening for Kyle Busch. And what about Eric Garnell? Another good top 10 finish. Stephen Light gets into the top 6. Good runs by those guys, and Brad Coleman ends up 10th.
Kyle Busch's 51st combined NASCAR victory, taking sole place of 11th all time. So the Gibson guitar celebration was a little different. I guess a piece of guitar for everyone, as Dave said in Victory Lane. And it's on to Kentucky next weekend. The standalone stretch continues for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Our coverage next Saturday, 8 Eastern on ESPN2. And up next, United Association Route 66 NHRA qualifying. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Kyle Busch, your winner in Nashville.
Get that tire back on there.